What is up, people?
On people, what's going on? Family, cousins, sisters and brothers, and all my kin.
It's so good to be here and be back. Oh, it's the end of the year. Can you hear it, Alan?
Yeah, I hear some.
Here's something. Yeah, so.
He was saying he couldn't hear you earlier.
Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you, Josh, but
Oh, you couldn't hear me.
yeah,
Can you hear me
but I
now?
could hear the, like the background.
Can you hear me now?
Say something.
Say something.
I think so. Yeah, I think.
All right,
You
cool.
sure? Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna have to reroute y'all later, but yeah,
Okay.
welcome to the contest outlet. Shout out to T Mac who just came in.
Hey!
Yep, we got T Mac in the house. Miracle behind the madness on screen and in the comments saying "Let's go."
Yes.
Make sure y'all like for the algorithm. Today we have a very special episode. We not only have the contest outlet, but we have all of us, all four of the quality hosts on one show. Say hello to everybody. Got me at the top, Kenya right below me, Mr. Alan J right under, and Miracle at the bottom. So before the contest outlet gets into their shows, we're gonna be going over some topics that we would like to cover with you all. But first, we're gonna let Miracle and Alan just kind of give an update on where they've been and how they're looking forward to progressing. Shout out to Amani. Take it away, guys.
Hey, Monty.
What's going on, Imani?
Man, we've been doing a lot lately.
Yeah, we've been shaking and moving.
Yeah, because as you guys know, we just got engaged.
Yeah,
so.
we just got engaged. She didn't stole my heart, and now she want to steal my last name, so I'm gonna
That's
let her
right.
do it.
You're giving it to me.
Yeah, and more like
I'm
a
not
heist,
stealing.
a heist.
You're
Yeah,
giving it to me.
Okay.
So I didn't make you.
yeah,
So there's that.
definitely a lot of planning.
Yeah.
A lot of just readjusting. A lot of reassuring. A lot
Yeah.
of just life is. It's definitely a great, beautiful process. It's really you just got to be aligned with first, God, and also your partner if you're going to do this thing right and not stress each other out, because it can be a stressful thing, like trying to plan for a wedding, and budget is always the number one thing, and things of that nature. And so the main thing is just to keep the main thing, and it's the people. It's you and the person that you're marrying. If you try to get too much into I say trying to make everything so glamorous for people, you will end up making a horrible decision. So
Yeah, seriously. And it's there's been so many changes that I didn't expect before we even are getting married. And I just didn't expect these things to happen so quickly. It's like I keep hearing the Holy Spirit tell me it's time to make all these different changes all at once. A lot of things that I've been avoiding is now like, you need to get this done before you get married. And it's like, whoa. And so now we're at a point now where we're trying to continuously align with each other's lives. And that's a lot more challenging than we thought too. And so, yeah, it's beautiful though.
yep. So from planning a wedding, also that's including a honeymoon and navigating your job and other life things, investments, and it's everything is really what you make it. And it can be as beautiful or it can be as ugly as you want, but just make sure that, in my opinion, people, marry your best friend. If you don't marry somebody that's not your best friend that you can roast sometimes, or or you y'all can just joke on each other, don't take each other too serious doing this stuff, because think about it, you gotta be with somebody. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad we're friends.
Yep.
My best friend.
Best friend. Hey, best friend, my best friend.
He's so lame. So yeah, guys, we here today, and we're excited. We're trying to get consistent with the conscious outlet. So
We are going to be consistent.
Be continuously on the lookout for more videos, more content from quality entertainment in general, and especially from the conscious outlet. We're so excited to be here. We have our Substack. We have our new merch that's out. Tune into those things too. We have a whole bunch of things in store. I'm excited for something particular that I'm not going to talk about yet, but it's in the works. They know what I'm talking about. I'm excited. So yeah.
I actually have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
Maybe I do. I just don't know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, I'll give you a hint.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. How could I be so silly?
Exactly. Come on now.
How could I be just so silly?
It's not what you guys think either. But
Yeah.
they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, we did allude that we were gonna do a dating show. So
We did?
people, Kenya and I on our last show.
Oh, okay. We're
Yes.
doing a dating show.
Yeah, so people.
Yes, it's going to be live.
Yeah, people. It's not.
It's gonna be different.
Live. Or you meant live like
He
lit,
meant like
right?
lit.
Yeah, lit like a bit. Okay, cool.
It's gonna be different.
And I
Different
think
from
that we
what
got
you
some
guys-
people on that I sent a link to, you know?
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. No.
There's no comments here. I mean,
Okay.
there might be like people on the stream, but I don't see.
Okay,
Yeah, just
okay.
tell them to leave a comment
Okay.
down below. Join the chat. We'll put your if you got something noteworthy to say, we will pop your comment up on the screen.
Yeah, for all my people, you know, that's
All my people
on,
in the
leave a
stream.
comment so we can shout y'all out because this is really, really just important for us just as far as the engagement. And we just happy that you all spend like a little time with us. And of course, we will post this afterwards. And so like this is going to be a segment of some heat. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Speaking of heat, let's get right into the tea. So, as you saw previously in the intro, this is our agenda. We're going to be talking about Candace blasting the Daily Wire. Red Cooper speaking for the first time since, publicly really, since she made her last video with the Daily Wire. She spoke at a Turning Point USA conference. And then Kiki Wyatt's new church, which I don't really know too much about, but Miracle found a gem of a story that I think we can have a quality conversation about. And the Conscious Outlet and their, segment their show, they'll be taking over after that, talking about baby mamas and baby daddies and the culture that it has created, for better or for worse, even though none of them get married. So let's dive deep into this. First, we're going to get into Candace blasting the Daily Wire. So, question. So, does Candace have a point in blasting this? So, as we watch this clip, I want y'all to leave in the comments your thoughts on, Candace's perspective, because she always seems to have a very unique
All right, guys,
one.
unbelievably, this is the last.
Let me get to the timestamp. I think it was like 7:30. There we go.
And the headphones made sense. Reagan's 29 years old. This is an adult woman, and she's kind of cosplaying a teenager in a dorm room. Super awkward, and we can say it was an abject failure. I mean, let's just go through some of these numbers, okay? So this has been 10 days. In 10 days, the comment section has lost 200,000 subscribers, okay? So when Brett Cooper made her announcement, the channel had 4.51 million subscribers. Today, it just keeps going down every time this Reagan girl posts. It's at 4.29 million subscribers. I'm just showing you guys this quick snapshot that I took of the channel. So this girl has produced 2 videos. This one, which is about the Duke lacrosse scandal, has been up for just under 2 days. Could not crack 100,000 views. She's got 71,000 views. The video behind it, even more abysmal, 42,000 views. So you imagine, if it is true that she snaked her best friend and just took her 4.5 million subscribers, and she can't even get 100,000 of them to watch her video. And it's a small video. These are like 7-minute clips. These usually play very well because people have YouTube brain and they're not able to actually follow anything longer than 7 minutes. And the internet is saying absolutely not. I mean, it has gotten so bad that Benny Johnson, who is a friend to sort of everyone, actually did a video on the comment section of the comment section because he couldn't believe how much of a failure that it had been. And that video that Benny Johnson made is almost at 1 million views. Comments are exceptional, but again, all saying the exact same thing. This guy, Frank, writes, Brett Cooper is the comment section. That is horrible. This girl, Fiona, writes.
Yeah, so what do you guys think about that so far? Just, you basically snake your best friend and kind of take over her channel. You've been with your best friend for the 3 years building this channel as her producer, and you just attended her wedding as her maid of honor. So Kenya and I have done videos about this, but we wanted your perspective on, what is your perspective on the situation?
I can't even imagine that situation happening to me. I guess it's kind of like, I understand Brett Cooper can't say too much about the situation, so we aren't aware too much about all the details. But I mean, seeing the fruits, it's kind of like, it is what it is. Your supposedly best friend and maid of honor of your wedding is taking over your channel and expecting to be you now. So you kind of have to question like the intent, like why are you doing this? Was this always the plan? Were you always planning on taking over the channel? Were you in talks with the higher ups about taking over this YouTube channel one day? Like, what kind of were the circumstances that led up to this? And the fact that the audience doesn't know all the details is leading to this sort of decline of all these viewerships and subscribers, because it's like they no longer trust the platform.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think you nailed it. It's a trust thing. Like, people subscribe to YouTube channels for the person that is making that content, and they fall in love with that specific personality. And it seems like you can't just switch people on a specific YouTube channel without like some sort of like rebranding and people getting to know that person for who they really are. And if they vibe with that person, then they'll stay subscribed. I mean,
Yep.
Sometimes people will just leave just because, okay, the other person left, all right, maybe I'm just not feeling you, which is fine. But to replace Brett, not only with her best friend, but to, have her best friend express her same mannerisms, supposedly giving her acting classes, to essentially be a carbon copy of Brett. It feels like we're just getting a knockoff version of Brett rather than an authentic version of who Reagan is. And if we got an authentic version of who Reagan was, we wouldn't get this public, backlash. But not only is the turning on your friend part horrible, but also the fact that now you're, emulating your friend that you just stabbed in the back. So it's just kind of a crazy situation all the way around.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the Daily Wire is trying to sort of run this sort of like a TV network rather than a YouTube channel that people know it for. Because, on regular like shows and stuff, people are replaced all the time, but people will stay for the actual show. But on YouTube, it's a whole different audience where people come for the actual person that they're watching. So it's kind of like they kind of got it wrong when they tried to attempt to maneuver it like a TV network rather than for the platform that it is.
No, absolutely. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
No, I feel like you all pretty much said it all, but I guess one of the little things that I can, take from this is, people always try to copy someone all the time on social media. If you just think about it, to me, it's a self-identity crisis. Just think about even, I think this was kind of going viral last week. Drake had a contest for people to basically be his, look-alike, and they'll win $10,000. So you got grown women and men dressing up as somebody else, and just to win some money or whatever. And to me, this kind of demeaning is because, hey, I'm my own authentic self. And so in, this context, like they're trying to, as Josh was saying, trying to be a carbon copy of someone that you just snaked. And so it's like, okay, like there's no integrity now. There's no like, hey, that's my person. So like, I'm not even going to move that way. Like it's either, hey, I'm going to get the money and I don't care who that I, affect. Almost like some P. Diddy stuff.
Don't go to the parties.
No, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, y'all nailed it on the head. Like I mentioned this in my solo stream the other day. It's like YouTube is built because they're coming for you, right?
Yeah.
We're coming to escape the, big corporate propaganda that is pushed in the way that they do things and the way that they, structure narratives. But when it's YouTube, it's the idea is that it's like authentic people, giving you their authentic thoughts. And that's even why, Brett Cooper, or like her sets it's built like she's in a bedroom, because that's the feeling that the Daily Wire was trying to give, because that's why people on YouTube subscribe to people. And like another prominent YouTube star, Amala, on the conservative side, she actually does her, live streams from like her little studio, and I believe that's just at her house. And that's kind of the nature of what YouTube is. Like, she's obviously not the only one, but that's what the feeling that people are trying to get. And then when you have like these big corporations, like the Daily Wire, who are trying to, give you something that feels like it should be, on, mainstream television, like on Fox or CNN, all the things that we're trying to get away from, then it's like, well, this feels like a forgery. So.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, trying to get away from the TV networks. That's the whole point of us coming to YouTube.
Exactly.
I want to watch the person, like even on Facebook, because I used to follow the comment section, show on Facebook, and it was so funny seeing all the switch outs. Like suddenly you see a bunch of Reagan's videos, and suddenly the cover photo is of Reagan and the profile picture is of Reagan, and all the reactions are like mad faces and laughing faces, and all the comments are like, this is not it, no. And so it's just so funny to see it play out. Like they can just switch it out like that. And that was happening before I even found out about the actual story. I was so confused. I was like, what is happening? Why is this new person here? So I'm like, I thought the comment section was Brett Cooper's thing, because that's how it came across. Like, this is her show. Like, even though it's produced by the Daily Wire, I associated it with Brett Cooper, like it was her show. So now that she's not a part of it, it's kind of like,
what's the point?
This doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel authentic, like what you were saying.
Yeah, I would say for the people who don't know what the Daily Wire is because I'm quite sure a lot of listeners are like, well, why should I care about this? If you don't, go back and just look at a few videos, and then you can kind of catch like the vibe and everything, and just, explore a different palette when it comes to what type of media that you're consuming. It's because there are some good things that you should analyze from whatever they actually articulate and everything. So check out the Daily Wire. And I do have a question for you all, because I haven't watched it in a while. Did Trevor Noah, was he ever on the Daily Wire?
I don't think so.
Okay.
He's not really like
he's not even
he's more
right-wing.
liberal than conservative, or I guess
He'd probably be more libertarian.
Libertarian, that's the word.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's definitely not conservative.
Nah. So yeah.
But like, to add on to what you guys were saying about inauthentic, I remember me and Josh were just curious, so we like went on to Reagan's Instagram just to like see what her authentic voice sounded like, and to see like her actual personality outside of the comment section. And we could not find a video of her just talking like a normal person.
Wow.
So that was really interesting to see. Yeah, it was just like voiceless videos. That's it. Yeah.
That's interesting. Were y'all looking for it after this whole ordeal started?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we
I'm
kinda-
wondering if she like cleaned up her Instagram like right when all this happened.
She definitely did, because I think I had found a video before Kenya and I went through the whole, like, together, before we went through it together. I had found a video, and like she seemed like, bubbly, like very similar to Brett, but not doing like the exact same mannerisms. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like a carbon copy. But you could see that, like, oh, definitely they probably have,
friends.
yeah, they're friends. They probably have influence over each other. You could tell they probably hang out every day, which they did.
Wow.
But it wasn't, it wasn't like she was trying to be Brett, and that's the feeling that you get when you're
Man.
watching the comment section in its, current
I have
state.
not watched one of her videos yet, and I've actually been meaning to, just to get a feel of what everyone's like talking about regarding her mannerisms trying to mimic Brett. Like I haven't seen any of the videos yet, so I might check one out just to fulfill my curiosity.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Yeah, it's
but-
pretty trippy.
Yeah, it's super weird. Candace did have like another really interesting point in regards to kind of like the foundation of what the Daily Wire was built on, and not necessarily like, exposing them, but just like an interesting tidbit. And I think she starts to get into it around this point.
The year they should have, if I was advising, I would have been like, take a full pause. It's Christmas, it's holiday time, no one's gonna think, let's come back in the new year with something fresh. They didn't do that. And I don't think it was advertising dollars that was influencing it. Somebody said to me maybe it was just continuity. They were thinking as long as they just had a show the next day, people would be used to listening to Brett Cooper and would just be back. Maybe, but again, not what I took away from this. What I really think it came down to is the Daily Wire is run by people who were formerly in theater, right? So you have Jeremy Boring, the company's called Bent Key. The reason it's called Bent Key is because he wears a bent key around his neck. And that key, he once wrote in Daily Wire piece, was the key from the playhouse that he used to work at. He was an aspiring actor. He talks about how he failed in Hollywood. And so his background is in theater. And recently, Ben Shapiro went viral because he gave this review of Wicked that was very professional, talking about people singing in their head voice, and the internet was amazed that he was so up to date, I guess, on just theater stuff. And I think what you have are a lot of people, their background is in theater, and they thought through this equation like theater kids. They were just like, we need an understudy. Reagan knows the part. Reagan knows how to do this. Reagan's been the producer. Reagan, Brett's leaving. Can you just be Brett? And it was just an accidental miss. Genuine.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about that? I think it's an interesting perspective.
Huh.
The other kind of side of this whole thing is that Jeremy Boring has been very petty, and sometimes in a good way, but also sometimes in a bad way as well. So this could be a time when it's in a bad way. Generally, it's in a funny way that people who are more conservative can appreciate. Like when Hershey's does that whole campaign, he goes and makes Jeremy's chocolate and sells like the she her and she him or he him Hershey bars. Or when Jeremy's razors pull their funding or their support, their sponsorship from the Daily Wire because they're like, hey, we don't really agree with you, which is their prerogative. And Jeremy's like, all right, screw you guys. We're just gonna make Jeremy's razors, or Harry's pulled it, sorry, and then they went and made Jeremy's razors, and sold out. These are actually good things that happen, and they're funny, especially with this whole culture war thing happening in the background. But also they're kind of petty in a sense because it's like it kind of shows you what he does when he feels like you're not in agreement or in alignment with him. And so there's this idea online that, hey, Brett maybe wasn't in alignment with, everything that, Jeremy and Ben or just the Daily Wire as an entity was pushing. And they were like, all right, we're going to kind of just push you out. And, oh, by the way, since this is kind of my nature and I like getting back at people, we're going to replace you with your best friend. And we're going to give her a bunch of money that she can't refuse, which is also a perspective that is not out of the realm of possibility and is very interesting. What do you guys think about those two perspectives?
The theater kid thing, I never even thought about. When she brought it up, I was wondering where she was going with it until she said the understudy. And I was like, you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense, because when you think about it from that perspective, then giving her the acting classes to act more like Brett and her mannerisms, it makes a lot of sense in that way. And so even with the, I guess the pettiness on Jeremy's side, that also makes sense. And I do wonder if that is the case, what sort of values has maybe Brett developed or displayed that maybe didn't align any longer with the Daily Wire? I wonder about that.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Anybody else have any thoughts?
No, sir.
All right. Well, we'll get right into our next topic. So we're going to be talking about Brett Cooper speaking out in her first speaking out publicly since her last video at the Daily Wire. So as we go through this clip, just ask yourselves and leave your thoughts down in the comments. Do we need to look, or actually, no, this is not it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, forget that. That's from the last show.
Hello!
All right, so she's coming out. People are going crazy, but we want to pick it up around the 3:30 mark, I believe. Right about here. Dang it. What did I just do?
Hello!
There we go.
Good things coming, good things coming. So all that to say, I became highly engaged in politics and the culture war. But in this, I quickly found myself becoming dependent on the news cycle to regulate my mood and regulate my hope. And obviously that's understandable. These are consequential times that we're living in. The stakes are high. But as this became my job, as I was doing a twice daily show, this dependency only worsened, and I had to learn how to find hope and humor and joy and purpose outside of the news and outside of this constant noise. And I wanted to make sure, more importantly, that I was showing up positively for every single person who clicked on my channel to watch a video. And now, 3 years later, funnily enough, that is the question that I get asked the most, is that amidst all of this chaos and unrest, how do you still show up with joy every day?
Yeah, that's a good question. And before she answers that, y'all have any thoughts? Like, how do you guys, amidst the chaos of the world and the dissension politically, and even dividing lines in a multitude of different ways, throughout our culture, like, how do you wake up with joy and looking forward throughout the day when seemingly all there is negativity coming from both sides of the aisles? Like, both sides are saying, hey, if you, like, the apocalypse is upon us, essentially, if we don't get our agenda pushed.
Yeah, I'm going to say, for me personally, I do not pay a lot of attention to political issues. Like, I definitely care about, some of the social unrest and things that will affect us as a community, as a country. But I feel like whatever happens to, when it comes to all of that stuff, is that I'm just going to adjust. I feel like it really will maybe affect some people emotionally when they are too invested into it. And yes, you as one person, you can make a change, but like a lot of times we can't scale change, or like we only scale change based on the impact that we can see and not the individual. And so stuff like that never, bothers me. Sometimes I will pay attention to it, but if you let yourself kind of get engulfed into it too much, it will drive you crazy. Because I remember when I was watching this stuff each and every day. I'm like, man, it's something new each and every day. Like it's missed, and I actually think some of this stuff is actually put out for ratings. And sometimes it's little contracts behind the scenes, like, yeah, we broke up because of this, or the team just saw it that they wanted to go in a different direction, and so that gives people like, just think about it, theater or the what they call it, the Roman circus. Like that's a real thing. It's like, hey, people love mess, people love dissension, is because people deep down inside, they want to choose a side. And so that's my little take on it, because I barely kind of pay attention to it, and I try not to let it affect me, because it would affect stuff in your life, and how you even view other people. So
yeah, that's a lot of how I feel, because I'm such a sponge. I absorb everything, so I really have to watch what I listen to, what I put inside my body, inside my spirit, because at the end of the day, all of these things will affect me whether I know it or not. And so oftentimes I have to regulate what I'm focused on. And so every day I try to recenter my focus onto Christ, because at the end of the day, that's where I can pull my hope from. Because as humans, we like to fear monger. At the end of the day, like, when you're looking at like both political sides and the agendas that they want to push, and saying like, all hell will break loose if this thing does not get passed. People will die if this thing does not get pushed. And so it's like, at that point, when you allow those things to sit in your heart and you start to believe it, you are now depending on that situation or that new law or new initiative or that even that person to fix all the problems. But that can't happen because people are just simply flawed. So when people are flawed, the things that they push are also flawed. They won't fix everything. And so you have to recenter your focus on the things that matter, which is Christ and the hope that he brings and the joy that he can put into your heart, because he already promised to give you those things.
Yep.
That was good.
And make sure you all like and comment. Tell us where you're from. Tell us, hey, if you got some input on this. If you watch the Daily Wire, let us know. And also let us know just like how we are delivering everything, so we can improve and have that Kaizen mindset of continuous improvement. So
I like it.
Yeah, for me, I would say, of course, like, piggybacking off of miracles, like, my peace comes from Jesus. And even though I personally enjoy politics, but I also know there's a limit in which I can absorb it all. And so just really remembering, like, nothing really matters except for that relationship with Jesus. And just making sure that I'm paying attention to what is interfering with that, what is interfering with my peace, what is interfering with my emotions. And once I realize that, hey, this is not it, or hey, this is like making me worry or causing me anxiety, then it's time to just cut it off and just go back in the Word, go listen to worship music, go read a book or something, go exercise. But yeah, those are my big things, I guess I would say. And like, Alan mentioned like fear mongering and things like that. It kind of made me think of this thing I was watching, and they mentioned how back in like 2001, Fox News put like terror alerts on the screen just like 24/7, back when like terrorism and those things were really big. And I know from that time period, a lot of that caused a lot of people to have fear, when I think simply just turning it off and just giving it to the Lord, I think so many more people would have just an immense amount of peace. The world itself would have so much more peace if we just kind of separated ourselves from the fear. But I know the reason why both sides implement fear into their tactics is for votes and for money, for all those things. But I think if we all just centered our lives around the Lord, we wouldn't have to worry about all of that just like smushing us and making us follow into what they want us to do.
yeah.
I would agree. And going based off fear, like the biggest thing, because I study a lot of like YouTube stuff, and when they're talking about like titling your videos, like people have done like extensive studies on this. The top reason people click on like your video, one of the top reasons is like negativity.
Yes.
Like if there's negativity in the title, basically like you're like all the exposed videos, like so and so exposes so and so, right? And I think even one of our top videos is like the Sha'Carri Richardson girl exposed back when she went through, you know, her whole thing. And thankfully, like she's grown immensely since we've done that video, and I have nothing but positive things to say about like the Sha'Carri now. But we weren't really trying to like expose her per se, and tear her down. Actually, if you watch the video, it's a lot of it's like, hey, we're criticizing your behavior in this situation, but we're really just trying to build you up. And you know, that's what should happen with media, right? That shouldn't be that title, exposed. I know it's like very intriguing to humans intrinsically, but you shouldn't have to build your platform based off of like exposing people, right? And so even if that's your title, I feel like you shouldn't peddle that, you know, negativity, because then you're adding to the problem that you're trying to prevent. But yeah, great answers from everybody. Like, yeah, our hope should come from, you know, Jesus. And if you put your hope in, you know, Christ, then you will have this peace, because you're always striving for better, but you're also content and appreciative of who you are and what you are in this present moment. So, yeah. Let's hear what Brett has to say about how she finds eternal joy.
That's an important question, and it's one that we all must answer, especially as we prepare for these challenges ahead. Because even after all of this, even after the greatest political comeback in history, this battle is not, it's amazing. Amazing. But even after that, which was so amazing, this battle is not over, because there will be slandering, there will be mockery, there will be attempts to villainize President Trump and those who support him. So the question is, how do we withstand that pressure when we are entrenched in politics every single day and we care so much? In my opinion, that starts by addressing a fundamental mistake that I think that we all make, which I kind of call the fallacy of external fulfillment. Because it is very easy to believe that external forces, whether they be political wins or career milestones or material gains, dictate our joy, our meaning, and our success. And sure, all of those things, they feel great. You know, winning an election is exhilarating. Getting a nicer home is exciting, and achieving a personal goal is rewarding. But those are feelings, and those feelings are fleeting. True, lasting fulfillment and resilience, more importantly, does not come from external forces. It comes from within. It comes from living a life that is grounded, that is steady, and that it is aligned with your values and your purpose. I mean, to borrow a page.
Yeah, so that's basically what she's saying there is, hey, this internal joy should come from you being grounded in your values and you actually living those out, right? It's the internal things. Like, people often think that, you know, if I get this or if I achieve this, then I will feel this. But feelings are always fleeting, right? As she mentioned. But really, your peace and your joy should come from your character, in a sense. You living out good values, you being a positive influence to the people around you, you being a light in the world, you being the salt of the earth, as the Bible would put it. What do you guys have to say about that?
I remember a while ago, I had a friend of mine who bought like her dream car, right? And she thought that after this dream car, she was going to be set, complete, so full of joy, driving it around all the time. It would just, you know, it would bring her happiness. I remember getting a text a couple weeks after she officially bought it, and she was like, I really thought that this thing would like bring me happiness, and I still feel the exact same. And I was like, I get that. We often make that mistake of thinking that the things around us and the material things and our accomplishments can really fulfill us, but it doesn't. I even made that mistake like for years growing up, thinking that I needed the successful career and the accolades and the titles to really feel like I matter in this world, until those things started to consume every part of my soul that just sort of kept like chipping away. And then I was left with rock bottom, which is where I turned to Christ again and rededicated my life. So it needed to happen. But I say that to say she's absolutely right. When you're grounded in your internal values and you stick with that, you find that the things around you, when situations aren't always looking the way you want it to, you're still content with who you are and what you put out into the world, because it's grounded in something real and everlasting and true.
Amen.
Anybody else?
No, I'm good. Miracle just she already gave everything. So
Kenny, do you have anything?
Yeah, I know she said from within. I would just take it a step further and like it starts with Jesus, like all of it. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, we can all have our own separate values, but I think to truly find joy in this world and find hope and all that kind of stuff is through Jesus. It's not from yourself, because yourself, just like feelings are fleeting, so is the self. Self is also fleeting. So,
Amen.
yeah.
I love that point.
I would say the only thing I gotta say, I mean, it's nothing just like deep or nothing, but I'm like, me just watching her, I'm like, oh my God, this just sounds so fake. I don't even wanna hear that. I'm like, yes, you know, we have to battle against we got to battle against the foreign, you know, people. See, you already causing division. I don't want to hear none of that. All right, move on. Yeah, I'm just like stuff like that. It's like, I mean, we don't have to be against each other. We can have those differences and still be able to make this world and country a better place. Like, there's I'm gonna say, while she was talking, it just made me think of on how primal we are as, you know, human beings. It's like, hey, this person got something and I got something, and we got to fight over this thing that's in the middle. And I just don't subscribe to that. It's because I think, hey, what's for you is what's for you, and what is not is not. I don't have to slander. I don't have to, you know, kick the stool from under you in order to get a leg up. But yeah. I mean, you're not saying that she's a bad person, but
No, I hear you on that, because it's kind of like what Kenya was just saying. Like, the self is fleeting as well, and so like using that and what you're saying about just the division that's still there, like, because I believe Brett Cooper is a pretty genuine person, but there's still flaws, because I'm not sure about her relationship with Christ. I don't know if she's a believer or not. But because she didn't mention Christ as being the internal source of peace and joy, I'm not sure about it. And so the thing is, as Kenya was saying, like, the self is fleeting. Like, even that right there is fleeting, to the point where you can still cause all the chaos and strife and not know it, even if your intentions are good, because they're still grounded in principles that are fleeting.
Yeah,
essentially.
Because like when she was talking about, they may slander us. I'm like, you do it too. I'm quite sure you do it, but it's in a more subtle way. Like me, I don't get into to me, a lot of stuff be BS.
Now what I would say is, now I've watched Brett for a long time. I don't believe that she slanders people. I think she's grounded in the facts, and I would agree with Miracle. I think she's pretty genuine. I think my take would be that you say, like, hey, we need to be grounded in our principles, but then you're kind of like choosing a side, as if the side that you're on, or that you're, you know, the Republican side, essentially the conservative side, is, you know, the side that we should all be rooting for.
Right.
And I don't think that's the case. I think what we have is, you know, these two, you know, super teams essentially that everybody just wants to join, and they only give us these two options, but really neither one of the options are good. And that's why every time we have a presidential election in our modern history, it's like we're choosing the lesser of two evils. It's not because and that's because of the principles that the two sides are grounded in, right? They fundamentally, disagree, which is fine, but then they don't have the heart, right? Because one side is saying, oh, we're super compassionate, and because we're compassionate, we're not going to be compassionate to the other side.
Yep.
And the other side is saying we're standing on truth, and because we're so truthful, we're just not going to acknowledge, or the other side, they're just all lies. So a lot of times they don't even acknowledge when the other side is doing good on either side. And what we need to be doing is, standing on our values and standing on our principles, but also trying to find, bridges that allow us to, build a better future that is not revolving around fear, right? And I think that's why Alan reacted so viscerally when she's talking about like, oh, they're gonna slander us and they're gonna do this and they're gonna do that, and it's like, well, yeah, this is politics, and politics is a dirty game, and the key word is game, because that's what they're playing. It's just a game that they're trying to win, right? And in the game of politics, there's not really rules, right? There's not rules like, baseball has a set amount, or a set of rules that you have to adhere to. Football, set of rules that you have to adhere to. And in politics, it's like, yes, you have a set of rules, like don't cheat in election, right? But there's all sorts of loopholes that people will do to get a bill passed, or to do this, or to bribe people. And the rules are just utterly utterly thrown out, because it's a zero-sum game where the only true thing that is followed on both sides is win at all costs, do what you have to do to get the upper hand, to advance politically in your career, whether that looks like a bigger title, whether it looks like more money, more influence, or a combination of any of those things that I just mentioned. And so that's what makes it such a dirty game. And so when you have somebody that's genuine, like Brett, he's like, yeah, I just want to stand on these values that are good, and I do believe she is Christian, but then at the same time saying like, oh, like this is the side, and this is the side that we got to rally around. It's like, no, like you're big enough, Brett, and there's a couple other people that are like, hey, we need to carve out our own space, right? And then build that from the ground up to compete with these giants, right? Because if we have enough power and we have the right vision forward, and we are grounded, now we can be David and go up against Goliath.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very well said.
That's
from
all
the producer.
That's all I had to say about that.
And I know that I have to do a little bit more research, because I haven't really watched a lot of it, and so you just gave me some context, Josh. So I definitely appreciate that. I was just going by what the little bit that I've seen. So
that's I get it. I mean, that's why
I'll be the Charlemagne of the don't worry about it.
That's why I just wanted to give you a little bit of clarity. For because people are gonna get in the comments and be like, he doesn't even know, bro, like that. And it's like, yeah, he doesn't. This is his raw reaction.
Exactly. Right? And what are y'all gonna do about it?
Yeah, so continue
fight me.
Continue to watch.
I'm against Brett.
He's so annoying.
Yeah, it's Amani says, shout out to Amani, putting some fire comments in the comment section. Says, yes, I found Christ after I realized the world can't bring me joy or peace. Yes.
Seriously.
Amen to that. So yeah, that is our quality conversation about Brett Cooper. So we're going to move on to our last segment of this part of the show, and we're going to be talking about, let me pull this up, Kiki Wyatt's new church. I have no clue who Kiki Wyatt is.
Well, let me tell you,
Okay.
she is one of the pinnacles of black artistry. Avant put her on. It's a song that a lot of people know, is called My First Love. And she has a lot of range. I want to say that she started in gospel and then tried to transfer and stuff like that, but she just never, I mean, she was more of kind of like a background singer, very, strong angelic voice, but she just wasn't either pushed like that. But yeah, she was big in the 90s, early 2000s, or, well, not big, but she had some relevancy. And yeah, so Kiki Wyatt, that's who she is, and apparently she's trying to start a church based on what Miracle just told us. So
I only know that one song with her and Avant.
yeah, Avant.
I was gonna say the name wrong, but yeah, I only know that one song. And was she big like that?
No.
Okay.
I mean, she had a few little songs. If you go, oh yeah, that sounds good, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I heard this story and I was like, oh. And I saw somebody commenting on it. One of the Christian YouTubers that I follow, and it's just sort of the way she was describing like the process it took for her to finally discover that she wanted to do church and everything, and how it. And she said stuff like, "Oh, everybody can come," which of course that's yes, everybody can come. But I guess it was the way. It sounds more like more of those inclusive church agendas that she's trying to do. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
I think it's from the pits of hell and Satan, because I'm just gonna be honest. People know. I mean, everybody know that there has been millions and millions of times that a pastor has been in some type of scandal because they're misusing the funds from the church and stuff like that, and people know, hey, quote unquote, the church is a non-profit, and then we can make some money, by people giving cash, people getting this, and so people, I'm telling you, people start churches because they know that a lot of people want to feel good.
That's true.
I would say Allah, what's his name? What's the preachers that's in Texas who always had a feel good? Joel Osteen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in my opinion, from the little bit that I have heard from him, he preaches a good, happy message.
He's a motivational speaker.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's not what church is about,
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's a ploy because apparently she might be hurting for money because she ain't really doing it. It's like, hey, I'm gonna start a church. Okay, under what guidelines? A lot of people don't know, like there's biblical foundation when it comes to starting a church. You just, like, people, I mean, I used to be really close to different pastors and stuff like that. Some people didn't like a certain doctrine that one pastor would have, so they was like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go and start a church. Under what basis? Because your feelings were hurt?
Yeah.
Did it, cut you in a way that it should, and you just did not, heed to the spirit? Like, hey, you need to, adhere to this because this is the leader. This is who I put forth. Because a lot of people, they read the word, but the word isn't living and active in them.
Yeah.
And so we look at Christianity or being a Christian, to be honest, it's in a lot of instances, some people, it's more religious than anything, and that's not what Jesus brought. Until you actually devote yourself, you will actually see and reap the benefits of all of these things that we talk about. Because I'm quite sure that you all heard from just watching stuff on YouTube or listening to a pastor like, yeah, I hear them talk about this Jesus guy and how much he's doing in their life. It's more unseen than also the physical. Of course, it will manifest itself in a way that God will reveal itself to, like, hey, it's no other way. It wasn't luck. It wasn't chance. It was God, our superior, being that actually orchestrated the things that have went into my life or whatever. Like some things you just cannot even fathom with words sometimes.
Yeah.
I always like to tell people like the story that I have. Like, hey, I got hit by a car. Little old me in fifth grade got hit by a car. I should have had broken bones. I should have not been walking. I should have not been talking still to this day. For the car was going 40 miles per hour. And just think about a 60-pound fifth grader who got hit. How come I didn't have any broken bones? There must be a reason. At fifth grade, I knew a little bit about God. And I remember praying. I was like, God, I don't, like, if you save my life, I won't do nothing else bad. And I feel like that just by me having that childlike faith, like, hey, from what I learned in church at this, young age, that if I put my faith in him, I will be saved. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I was saved. I feel like I was spared, I was like, God, I will not play Grand Theft Auto on the PlayStation 1 anymore. But I ain't gonna lie, I lied on that one. I think he probably knew it because I was, shooting people on the game and stuff like that. But yeah.
We all make promises like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was like, God, if you get me out of this, I would not be in the streets anymore.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's absolutely hilarious.
Please don't let her be pregnant.
My goodness. My goodness.
I'm saying that's what people do. That's what people do.
So let's see exactly what Kiki Wyatt is up to.
I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm sure y'all already seen it on Shade Room, which is amazing. I love Shade Room. Yeah, I'm curious to start a church with my partner, Larry Weathers, in ministry. And
She said with my partner.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that her husband?
What does that mean?
She looked like a husband.
Well, all right, that was crazy. The idea that you're gonna say partner and then say church when biblically all you see is husband and wife, husband and wife, husband and wife is already just it's kind of a sign, like an alert, right? Your alert should go up because it's like, oh, I'm starting a church with my partner. And also, that's the first thing she said. She didn't say like, hey, I was called by God. I had this profound experience. I had this, revelation. I've been praying about this. The first thing she's saying is, well, you heard. It's almost like, you got me. It's very, very weird. And her energy and her, vibe in this video just kind of seems a little off-putting.
Yes, and very attention-seeking. Well, you heard that I'm starting a church.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shader.
So yeah, exactly. Like Kenya has me watching these Real Housewives shows.
She told me
because she'll just put them on. She'll just put them on the TV when we're in bed now, and this is what this feels like. And obviously, a lot of that is just a lot of cattiness, right, and a lot of just backbiting and doing stuff to get attention and views and to grow their own influence and fame. And that's kind of what it feels like right now. There hasn't been one mention about, hey, I'm trying to advance the kingdom forward, but we'll see. We got over a minute left in this video,
and it is not gonna be the regular same schmegular. I don't do regular schmegular. Y'all know that. No, ma'am.
I don't do regular
I was just about to
smegular.
say, what does
She
that
said,
mean?
I don't do regular smegular.
Yes.
No, let's hear her out. We got to hear her out.
But I do God's business, and that's what I'm about. And
What does that
this
mean?
is crazy. I've been saying for like years and years and years I was going to do a church. But I'm just now like,
Y'all hear that? I've been saying for years and years and years I'm gonna do a church. She hasn't mentioned God once. She hasn't prayed. You okay, Alan?
No, I'm just trying to withhold my intrusive thoughts. So,
She said that she does God's business. What does that mean?
Yes. Right. What does that mean? Because I hear people all the time say stuff like, "Don't mess with God's child." Stuff. That's what it sounds like to me. Like that kind of energy, like the cultural version of God, when God is used in that way to fulfill whatever agenda that the person personally has. That's what it feels like.
yeah, I can tell that she don't have no scripture in her life. She don't got no scripture laid on, like, I think it's what, 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 11. It was like, there
you better
is.
be careful quoting that because people in the comments could just
They'll be
Google
like,
it.
ah,
So you better be
wait.
real careful.
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 11.
Okay.
Okay.
Check me out.
I'm about to check you right now. Go ahead. What does it say?
What does it say?
For it's like for no one can lay down like the foundation that's already been laid through Jesus Christ, because he was the first one to lay it. And so yeah.
All right.
Let's see. 1 Corinthians, you said chapter 3, right?
Verse
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
Verse 11, okay.
Ooh,
It says, for no one, Lord Jesus,
Yeah.
no one can lay any foundation other than
That's my baby.
the one already laid, which is Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stumbled on
it.
it.
Beyonce right there.
I stumbled on it a little
all
bit, but I'm like, I was like, dang,
That was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope.
yeah.
Hey, shout out to TJ3 in the building.
Yeah. TJ3. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Yes. Shout out to Trent. He said, hey guys, what's up? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you all.
Merry Christmas.
And a happy new year.
Yes. Yes. Man,
I gotta break out the Alvin and the Chipmunk voice.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas to everybody, all you quality people.
All right.
I kind of want you to sing that Alvin and the Chipmunk Christmas song that's in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Christmas, Christmas.
Okay, I got
Christmas, Christmas time is here. Time for joy and time for cheer.
That made my day. Thank you.
Hey, look at you bigging up your husband. There you go. I love the energy. Now like and comment and subscribe.
And share.
Yeah.
we were talking about church, and see, we off on a tangent now.
Sorry, guys.
We off on a whole tangent. But yeah. Shout out to Alan nailing that Bible verse. And shout out to Mayday coming in the building. Cousin Michael's in the house. Good morning. Best time of day, I see. Yes, indeed, we are having a grand old time. Anytime quality people get together to converse, to fellowship, even in an online setting, it is beautiful indeed. It is beautiful indeed. Let's get back to Kiki Wyatt. Also, I saw Monty's post. She was like, you don't know who Kiki Wyatt is? No, I don't know who Kiki Wyatt is. I probably heard one of her songs.
I don't either.
I only know that one song.
I probably heard the
Sorry.
one song, but I don't keep up with.
I mean,
I love that song too. It's a great song.
It's a great wedding song.
Yeah, it's my wedding playlist.
I'll be honest. She don't look like somebody I would follow. So
But she can
God bless
sing.
her, but she just doesn't look like such. She's not my demographic. I'm not her target audience.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, true that. True. Cause what you about, 28, 26?
I'm 27.
Okay, 27. Yeah, it was like in the early 90s,
I'm 27, so don't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
I know
Hey,
stuff.
but that's you marrying him. So you're an old soul.
Yes, yeah, that is
Facts.
true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Uh-huh.
I grew up on hog mogs and butter beans.
But
didn't.
Jesus Christ,
I
butter
didn't.
beans.
I didn't.
That sounds like it's raising your A1C.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's continue to hear Kiki Wyatt out.
I'm ready for real. I ain't gonna lie, I was scared because I'm a little different, but I have learned that different is good. Different will draw different. And, you know, that's what God wants.
We're supposed to be drawing people to Christ. We're not supposed to be drawing different. Now, in fairness, we do as Christians need to deploy ways that we can, you know, bring people that are seemingly, you know, thrown into the margins and see how we can win them to Christ, right? See how we can have those conversations with, you know, marginalized communities, essentially, right? We absolutely do need to do that, but the idea that this is going to be a different church that attracts different people, but you still haven't gotten to the core of what, you know, church is supposed to be and what the gospel is supposed to, you know, that you're representing the gospel in a sense. You haven't gotten to that part yet. And I'm trying to give her grace and to get there, but it just seems like it's just kind of something that she wants to do because she wants to be this spiritual leader in a sense. Not for the glory of God, but for maybe her own self-aggrandizement. And maybe she doesn't even realize that. Maybe that spirit is so deep within her that she's just playing that part out naturally. But that's the root. The root of it is selfishness. Is not actually for the glory of God.
Mm.
And like, I feel like if I'm a light, right? And I walk in a room full of light, you can't see my light because the room's full of light. But if
What? Nigga, what?
Is that Kamala Harris?
I promise.
What you can't see in a room of light? What you can't see my light? What?
Hold up, I gotta hear that again.
So if I'm a light, right? And I walk in a room full of light, you can't see my light because the room's full of light.
I don't know what she means by that. Right. I don't.
Well, Yeah. So basically, she's saying, like, as Christians, we're supposed to be the light of the world, right? Yeah. Because the world is dark, and so there's no way that one person can light the whole entire world, except, you know, Jesus will be the light. Shout out to Courtney in the comments. But she is literally saying that because there's other people shining around her, she can't shine bright enough, and so I'm going to start this church so that I could be the only light.
That interesting.
Sounds pretty selfish.
It does.
It's just crazy. Like we gotta hear that one more time.
She don't got no fruits of the spirit.
we gotta hear it one more time for the people in the very, 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 very back at the top row in the nosebleed sections. We gotta hear that one more time.
If I'm a light, right? And I walk in a room full of light, you can't see my light because the room's full of light. But if I'm a light and I walk in a room full of darkness, you're going to see that light and it's going to be very bright, right? So that's what I want to do. And starting a church, I just feel like any and everybody can come. It's not like, and it's like at 3:00 in the afternoon. It's not no morning church. It's not none of that. It's because, you know, we like to sleep in. No shade.
So my thoughts, like, this is an incomplete idea. She doesn't even, like you said, she doesn't even really know why she's doing this. And at the same time, it's like the things that she's focused on, which I'm going to call them her values, what she's focused on, what she's mentioning in the video, like the 3:00 service, and it'll be different, and I do different, and I'm a light and stuff like that. It's very much rooted in like
Pride,
grandiose, prideful validation type things, like things that will attract people, yes, but will it save people?
Yeah.
Don't save her. She don't wanna be saved.
Don't save her. She don't wanna be saved. Don't save her.
It's your baby mama.
She don't wanna be saved. Don't save her.
This whole thing
She don't
makes me
wanna be
think of-
saved.
Hey, it's over. The moment's done.
It's past. It's past.
The moment has passed.
I got to the end. You're right. Go ahead, honey. Be a light, honey. Go ahead and be a light. Shine for me.
In a room full of dark. Sorry, go ahead.
The whole thing makes me think of like that one verse talking about you'll be judged more heavily if you decide to like jump in the role of being a teacher.
Yes.
And it's just like, why does she not know like she is gonna be judged heavily if she steers people away from the whole purpose of like a church and like bringing people to Christ?
I didn't even think about that one. Oh my God. That's how people need to really think about the roles that they enter into, because you can't do it lightly, especially when it has to do with kingdom business. At the end of the day, whether you realize it or not, you will be judged upon these things. You will. It's coming.
Yep, you're right.
Now I can't with Michael. He says I'm down for 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
See, I'm not even against that. It's just,
I am. I wish.
I'm not.
I got things to do.
It's the fact that she's like emphasizing these things and these points as if those things like
are the problem,
are the priority over the things that matter, like Christ. You know, I didn't even hear her once say Jesus. You know.
Yeah, but. A lot of times, I mean, you got people who have been in the church for even 30 plus years who don't even know what the church intent is.
That's true.
What's the operation, and also what's the function within, you know, roles and everything. And so she's going off of like, hey, I think that I can help people out in a way that I think that, you know, their light should shine. Hey, you should come as you are and don't change, because that's what I'm getting from it. Yeah. I'm getting the sentiment that, hey, I want you can stay where you are. I'm gonna give you some motivation. It's because that's what everybody is, you know, getting, or not everybody. That's what a lot of people are getting right now anyway, is motivation. And as long as they're giving that, it's like, hey, that money gonna come through, because she's not starting a church to actually build out God's kingdom. She's starting a church. It's her church. It's not the church that's already laid, what we talked about in 1 Corinthians 3:11. And so
I wonder if she's gonna pastor the church. Like
she gonna sing.
She never actually said that, because I know from the little bit that I know, the partner Larry Weathers, I think he's an actual pastor. So I wonder if he's gonna pastor the church and she's gonna like do something else. Okay. I don't know. I have no idea.
And maybe she's trying to get some flack to get people, because like I know a little bit about the background of like doing a church. Like they want to see if you have some type of legit plan down, so they can give you a loan to build this building, and to make sure like, hey, are you gonna have a certain amount of members? And it's not every bank, but they do want to know, like, hey, because everybody want to start a church, but do you got the following? Do you have a church that's actually, or you got members in your church that's actually giving money now? Because that's how a lot of churches end up starting. They start in like a gymnasium, and then they have 20, 30 people, and then, you know, the bank want to see, hey, and then by her being Kiki Wyatt, it's like, oh yeah, so we're going to give you a loan because we see some of your financials from back then and back when, and so you have some flat. So
yep, all that does matter.
I mean, I kind of want to give her some grace, because I think she's not articulating herself very well. I think what she's trying to say is, hey, we're starting a church that is going to appeal to people who wouldn't ordinarily go to church, right? But the idea of church is that believers are to come and gather, right? And to strengthen the body of Christ. And then in between our gatherings, we're supposed to go and live as Christ, like strive to live as Christ, be the light of the world, and to evangelize, right? But the idea of church is more for the believers. And obviously, like if people come that aren't believers, it's to usher them into the way that we do things. And so I think she's like, hey, I just want to serve the people that are unheard, but at the bedrock of it all has to be a biblical foundation. And I think that's what's missing, and that's why we're kind of having this reaction. Yeah. One, because she's not articulating herself very well, but then two, because we don't hear a genuine yearning to further the gospel. We just see kind of this, oh, I wanted to start a church. We're starting a church, and it's going to be anti-church in the way that, everybody in Christendom does it, but because we're trying to attract the darkness, essentially, right? And it's like, yeah, as Christians, we should be we're not trying to attract the darkness, we're trying to eradicate the darkness with the light of the world, which is Christ, right? We are reflecting his light, and so we are going out and lighting the world in all of the dark places. And I think that's kind of what she's trying to say, but she's not saying it in a very good way, and I don't think her heart is in the right place to articulate it in a way that is going to promote a biblical ethic that is suitable to God's liking.
I could see that, because that's why I was also wondering if she would pastor, because of her articulation too, because of her heart posture and just the way I interpreted what she was saying. I was wondering, like, okay, will you be leading this church, or is that your partner's job? So I was definitely curious about that.
Yes. All right. We do have one more thing. Do y'all want to talk about the Jamie Foxx thing, or do y'all want to go ahead and get into
Yeah,
the show?
let's talk about it.
I can't see my screen though.
Did it die?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
I'm sad. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't need to see yourself.
I'm on YouTube.
Can you hear it? You're on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm looking on YouTube.
I could probably try to grab you a battery real quick. But anyway, let me get off of this because I don't want you to see my screen. Anyway, Jamie Foxx just did a stand-up special. Kenny and I haven't watched it yet, but Alan and Miracle have. And there's an interesting part where he mentions, obviously Jamie Foxx has been through a lot in the last year, and he gives, all glory to God for bringing him out of it. So I'll let them kind of talk about that while I cue up the video.
Yeah, we randomly decided to watch it one night because we heard, he was going to talk about him claiming that, not him, but, his people, his fans and people around the world claiming he was a clone, especially after his incident where it was sort of unclear what his condition was. He was really out of the limelight. After all that was done, we saw maybe a couple pictures of him, and from that point, the movie They Cloned Tyrone came out right after that, and so it was kind of tying into that. So it's pretty good marketing.
Yeah. I mean, people even thought it was a PR stunt or whatever,
yeah.
just to get more people to come look at it. But I mean, I don't think it was. But
yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was either, especially after hearing his stand-up, which honestly wasn't all that funny to me.
True. I will say that.
I give it for funniness, I give it like a 6 or 7, honestly. Yeah. But I believe it was so impactful. And I truly believe that for those that haven't heard of Jesus yet, I really do think they got that from watching this. I do. Yeah. And I have been seeing a movement where more celebrities are like turning to Christ. Mm-hmm. And so I prayed for Jamie Foxx after watching this too. I'm like, continue to lead him to you, because I see that the willingness is there, and I hope it continues to grow, because it was pretty impactful from my opinion. And so, yeah, he explains what happened to him. He explains his walk with Christ. He brings out his daughter. They play a song. He was really worshiping on stage at one point too, and throughout multiple points in the special. But there were a few points where he was just really giving it to God, and it was very special to see, and it was very refreshing, especially because Alan and I thought, like, well, he's not gonna say, he was Jesus. He's gonna say, God and stuff. Especially since in the beginning he was saying things like, Atlanta saved me, because he was treated at Emory. And so he's like, Atlanta saved me, my sister saved me. He really emphasized how his sister played a big role in his health, which is amazing. And so God kind of came later as far as like what he was mentioning for that. And so we were like, oh, he's probably not gonna like say Jesus, but we're glad he's okay. But when you see this specific clip, this is when he really starts pouring into like, no, like, this was, the work of my Savior. And so it was really good to see.
All right, let's dive into this clip. Well, actually, hold up. Gotta go back again. Hold on.
Gotta go back.
Gotta go back. So
Back to the
It's
side.
on Instagram, so like you can't pause it on Instagram. It's,
Mama
it's
got a piece of the pie. Moving on up.
You so
Thought just dropped
He's so old.
just yesterday. And it's called What Had Happened Was. And I'm going to show you this clip, man. Please watch this till the end. It is powerful. He gives God glory and how he and God spoke in the midst of this horrible stroke that he had. And after 20 days of not remembering anything, God spoke to him and told him this. Check this out and share this with a friend.
I was Wesley Snipes, I was arrogant, I'm Jamie Foxx, I don't need nothing. I don't want to see no therapist. They say you got a second chance, I don't want a fucking second chance. What's wrong with my first chance? What's wrong with my first chance? So I was in reverie. I gave up. What's going on with you? Why can't we just talk it out? I said, Drago, we can't, man, because I'm angry. I don't know why this is happening to me. And as I said that, I knew why this was happening to me. It was God. It was God. No, this should be happening to you. I said, what? Why? I said, God, look at all these bad people. Look at all these bad people down here. Shouldn't these bad people be going through this? And you know what he said? Those bad people already belong to somebody else. You belong to me. Remember when you used to say your grace before you ate your food? You belong to me. Remember when you played the piano for the church? When's the last time you've been to church, my nigga? But I shot back. God, I get it. But the crime don't get the punishment. The crime don't get the punishment. I'm serious. This is too much on me. Look, I'm still down here. I'm still gregarious. I'm making people laugh. I'm making them have fun. I said, but look what this is doing to my family, God. I said, look what it's doing to my kids. And you know what he said? You see what they did to my kid? I gave you 2 beautiful daughters. That was my only begotten sons. And finally, it came to me. It's about blessings. God blessed me with this talent. He blessed me with all this money this fame. And when I forgot about God, he blessed me with stroke.
Wow. Wow. So
All right, yeah, so that's it. Hopefully that music's not copyrighted, because I really hope it's not. My camera died, so whatever. But yeah, what do you guys think? That was a pretty powerful moment when he's having this moment of clarity and this divine encounter with God and just being drawn back to God, which is his ultimate foundation and his ultimate roots.
Yeah, he said that God used that stroke to basically heal him and bring him back to the fold. So there's a lot of things that can actually come from this. It's from his personal experience. It's him and his impact. It's definitely refreshing to see someone is like, hey, the wool was removed from my eye, is because a lot of times once we get to a certain level in life to where I have the money, I have the fame, I don't have to struggle. And so what do I need with this quote unquote abstract God? Because a lot of times when people say God, it's very abstract and it's not specific. It's because they haven't put in the effort or the work. Because the word does say, hey, draw nigh to me, like us, we have to go seek after that. And so I think that with him, it was a moment of revelation for him to be a better version of himself for Christ, but also for himself and his family, but to, you know, show like, hey, I'm not like the other people who's out here doing a whole bunch of, you know, quote unquote bad things, and that's from our carnal, you know, mind. Like, hey, stealing, killing, and being and like being a cheat or something. Like, I'm not out here. I'm not out here, God, doing bad things and stuff like that. I'm not going around slapping babies, you know. So and he's like, hey, I'm out here making people laugh, and so. The thing is, once you actually know, like, hey, God can't come second. He can't be the 1A, the 1B, or the 1C. He has to be it, you know, and you know that's it. Like number one before myself, before, you know, my family, before anything. And so sometimes it takes tragedy for us to, you know, learn. I mean, look at King David. King David had everything that anybody could, you know, ever want and desire, and he lost sight of throughout that, you know, time that God blessed me with each and everything that I have. But when I got all of those things, it's like, hey, what do I need God for? Because I got everything from a carnal sense. I got women, I got a kingdom, I got this. And so like it's so much deeper than probably what people would think or even know if you haven't gauged at the word. Because a lot of times we will read things, but we don't let it revolutionize our mind. And so I would say Jamie Foxx let people know that, hey, I'm human. And then he also said his regular name, which I forgot. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that was your regular name. You know, he had a country bumpkin name. His name was like John Bolenbarker or something like that.
What?
What did he just say?
All right.
I'm gonna find out what's Jamie Foxx's real name.
It's like Eric something.
Eric
Bennett?
No, Eric Mullen. It's like Aaron. It's like Aaron Mullen.
Nah.
Yeah, it is. Malon. Anyway, his name Eric something. So it's like Eric. His last name Eric Bishop. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is.
Eric Bishop. You got a regular person name.
Regular person name.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
He looks like a Jamie though.
It is in fact Eric.
He
Bishop.
does.
Yeah. He looks like a
Like a
Jamie.
Jamie.
I mean, yeah,
How did
because
you get Jamie Foxx
I know, right?
from that?
One of them stage name things.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a Jamie Foxx.
Well,
he's explained it. He's explained it before.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I forget where I saw it, and I forget, you know, exactly what he said. But
Maybe P Diddy gave him his name. He's like, you know what?
Chill out.
Check that. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you Jamie
Foxx.
I'm gonna call you Fox.
Yeah, you Foxy
Right.
daddy.
right after,
Take that.
right after he baby oiled him, that's some nasty work.
That's like a nasty work.
Nasty work. Jeez, man. But yeah, Kenya, Miracle, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's similar to what Alan was saying. I think it was a really good reminder not to be self-sufficient, because once we're self-sufficient, we forget God, and we forget that He moves. We forget to have reverence for Him, and once we forget to do that, then you're just lost. You really are. And so I'm so glad that he, even though the situation was obviously not ideal for him, for his daughters, for his family, it did end up bringing him back to the Lord. So I just pray that he really pours it all. He really gives it all to the Lord. He really does, like, just spend time in the Word, spend time with God, and he uses his platform for God's glory. And I know he mentioned like bad things happen to bad people, but from my perspective, I feel like bad things happen to any and everyone just because we live in a sinful world and we tend to fall into sin. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yep. It rains on the just and the unjust.
Yep.
Amen.
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 No doubt.
All right, so yeah, that'll do it for our quality conversation segment. Stay tuned, guys, because the Conscious Outlet will be right back after this break, dropping some dope content, discussing some important topics. Kenny and I will be out. I may chime in a little bit here and there, depending on the conversation. But right after this break, Conscious Outlet will be back with Baby, Mama, and Baby Daddy.
Drama.
Stay tuned, guys.
What will they remember you for?
Are you ready? Let it bounce.
Push your limits. Set the standard.
I'm enjoying the process and the journey.
Fast at 50. Coming soon.
All my life I was looking for a sign. Wasn't sure where to find a peace of mind. Sometimes you can see things when it ain't time. Well, for you I'll be putting it all aside.
With further ado, okay. All right, you know, will you be my wife?
Of course I will.
Yeah, of course. Kiss.
When I look at you, it seems so damn easy to love. Was alone, now I'm feeling so alive. Don't need to control a thing since you came into my life.
Quality.
I don't know why I did that.
Hey, what is going on, my people? What is going? Yeah, we are live. I forgot to tell you, Miracle and Cameron has went out a little bit, so I have to kind of help direct her, lead her until the, you know.
That is so loud. I'm sorry.
It's not loud to me. But yes, welcome back, people. It has definitely been a while.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning in to the Conscious Outlet today. I'm Miracle Monique.
And I'm Alan J.
Brought to you by Quality Entertainment. We have a Substack. We have our new merch. Come check it out, guys. The links are in the description, in the bio, whatever you want to call it on YouTube. That's where it's at. So click it. Our Substack is full of thoughtful resources and different articles that we all contribute to, and we want to dive deeper into certain things that we didn't get to on the podcast, or just some little side conversations. We have our merch that I just found out about, which is so cool. And check it out. We trying to do some things this year.
Exactly, and we want to provide you with some, conscious material to keep you throughout the week. We just like your daily dose of, church or something.
Exactly.
We want to make sure that your mind stays sharp. Iron sharpens iron, and we are your favorite uncle and auntie.
Exactly. And we're going to be breaking down some interesting topics today, okay?
Okay.
And we're going to approach it with love and grace because it can be a little touchy for people. And so, yeah.
Remember, people, it's all love and get out your feelings, but at the same time, we're going to tell it like it is, okay?
Tell the truth because the truth is the word and the word is truth. So we got to do it, right?
Yep. I just had to set somebody free this weekend with the truth.
At least don't lie.
Bow!
And like, subscribe, share the video, and make sure you guys continue to tune in to future videos, okay?
I'm not gonna lie, I just gotta tell people I am so excited for this show. It's been some time, and I just want to give all the good energy that I have, and it's going to be more consistency. Eventually, we also go do like some little prizes and stuff like that to also engage with our listeners because you all are very important to us. Community is a very big thing to us, and I see that we have a message. Mayday Watson MR.
That's my cousin Michael.
Okay. I was like, oh,
I can't see nothing. So.
Okay, it says who this is. JK, have a good show. Who
He
this
was
is?
talking about your absence because y'all said y'all are gonna be more consistent. Y'all haven't been here, so
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're trying to be funny. Yeah, we have not been consistent.
But it's changing. It's changing. Yeah. All right.
Especially with this topic, it's gonna be interesting. We might even do a little series on it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
if
feel
it
like
leads
it
into
should.
other things, right? So, but we're gonna be breaking down some stuff in the culture that might pull on some heartstrings a little bit, right? We're gonna be breaking down baby mama, baby daddy culture. Ooh, and the perspective and impact that it has on family, legacy, community, and how we can sort of combat it to raise stronger, godlier families, right? That's the real goal. So yeah, we're gonna have a real conversation about it today. And we're gonna start off by sort of talking about it from the perspective of the Black community, only because you see kind of higher rates of sort of baby mama, baby daddy culture in this context of the community, right? Especially pertaining to its acceptance, because it doesn't mean it's not present in other cultures.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is more publicly accepted in the Black community. And I kind of want to dive a little bit into this first topic of why that could be.
But before we do that, I would like to tell people what baby mama culture is.
Yes, I was actually going to ask you a funny question.
Yeah, go ahead, because I feel like she's finna be petty, but go ahead.
No, I'm not.
Okay, go
I'm not
ahead.
going to be petty,
Okay.
no. It's a question I always see like on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that, and it'll say like, okay, who comes first in a marriage, right?
It's the chicken.
It's the chicken. Yeah, chicken.
Shout out
is
to
life.
our producer Josh.
Yeah.
Come on.
Chicken is life.
It's so as a man, who comes first in your marriage? Your mom, your daughter, your wife, or your baby mama?
God.
And put it.
That's how you answer that, people.
And
but,
basically
but
on social media and stuff, you would see a lot of people like put it in their specific order. And to my surprise, and not to my surprise, I saw a lot of them not put their wife first.
Really?
Yeah. One, because I think a lot of people because of we're so out of order as far as how we do things to structure our families, we don't realize that our spouse is supposed to come first, and then the kids, and then I guess your mom, and then I guess baby mama, if you want to count that, but technically she's not supposed to be in the equation. So that's how the out of orderness and chaos can come in, right? And so when I would see comments and stuff under posts like this, it would be a lot of Black men saying they put their moms or their daughters first, and their wife would be like second or third. And I'm like, wow, seriously? Whereas a lot of the, which is interesting, a lot of the black women would say things like they put their, what would they say? They put their kids first and then their spouse. So their spouse will also be like second, right? So it's very interesting to kind of see how the impact of so many things can come to the point where you now have this mindset about how family is supposed to be structured. So we're going to dive into that a little bit. And I was thinking we could watch the doc. Wait, didn't you say you had something to say about?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, no, you are
I'm
definitely
sorry.
you are definitely fine. I think something went out on my camera, but
Oh, your camera went out?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, but anyway, so what is the baby mama culture? It's the dynamics and the attitude of certain stereotypes and things surrounding unmarried people. And so with that is a lot. I mean, that's some heavy stuff because those things affect us each and every day, and those things are perpetually promoted on the media, and really a lot of outlets and stuff like that. So I think it's good for us to always give people like a definition and define it, is because us at the Conscious Outlet, we're not just here just to just give you a perspective. We want to give you some data, something concrete, so you can understand, like, okay, well, they're not just giving their opinion, they're giving some things that they have researched along the way. Research and seeking things out is totally important into anything that we say, is because if I say, hey, I am a doctor, but I didn't go through school, I didn't go through training, you were like, you're not a doctor. It's because you didn't have to go through the fire. You didn't have to stay up 20. You didn't have to stay up 20 hours straight to study for a test and do clinicals and stuff like that. So people trust other people, not just what you say, but actually what you've gone through. And so and that goes with each and everything. So baby mama culture and baby daddy culture is best described as the dynamics and the attitudes, once again, and those some of the stereotypes when it comes to unmarried people. So
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that a lot, because when it comes to this topic, a lot of people like to insert their opinions on it rather than how this thing actually impacts like the culture and community and stuff. And so it's definitely important to state like the facts and even the truth from a spiritual plane too, because that matters first, because everything happens in the spiritual first. And so I forgot what I was gonna ask. Oh, what do you think are some of the things that influence this mindset of where we are today, particularly in the Black community, because that's what I'm more familiar with?
I would say the lack of fathers that was, I'm not gonna say that was active in the church. There has been a lot of things that has contributed to it, but overall, if I had to sum it up, of course, it's Satan using his little puppeteer things to separate us, to use other people to disenfranchise the Black community, and also other communities as well. And I mean, that's why even back in slavery that they actually took out the male, because they knew that the male is the lead, he's the head, he is the vision, he's the voice, he is the one that will lead the people of Israel to the promised land.
Yeah.
So
I like how you mentioned how the enemy uses this as like his tool, because that's actually our Conscious Way quote. I guess we could put that up, but you'd have to read it because I can't see it.
Okay. So
I can't see anything.
Is understanding the impact of the Black community. I don't think that's the quote. Okay, there we go. So the enemy uses every tool possible, historic wounds, social economic stressors, and cultural shifts to weaken families. Strong, intact households produce secure children who understand their worth and purpose. When families fracture, it's easier for the enemy to sow doubt, distrust, and confusion. Now that is heat. that is heat on so many levels. And make sure y'all like and comment because we finna almost go into a sermon. Like this is very dear to our heart right here, is because we really want people to be a better version of themselves. So
Facts.
yeah,
Absolutely.
make sure y'all share this too.
Yeah, I want to check out the Dr. Umar video that you
Okay,
sent
come
to me.
on, Dr. Umar, teach us something.
Oh God.
He said teachers.
Right. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So.
Come
The
on
biggest
with
reasons for LGBTQ. That's one of the biggest reasons for LGBTQ. And I'm not against no homosexual or no lesbian. I love all African people, but I reserve the right to disagree with any lifestyle that threatens the survival of the traditional African family. LGBTQ is the new birth control pill. Why do I say that? 2 men cannot reproduce, 2 women cannot reproduce, and now they're even transgenderizing our children. Do you know what that means? They're manipulating and indoctrinating African children to undergo sexual surgery so they'll never be able to reproduce again. When Dwayne Wade's son, Dwayne Wade, whose son is now legally had his birth certificate changed, he's legally a girl.
Yeah.
Hormone therapy. When he gets 30 years old and looks in the mirror and says, you know what? I don't like living like this no more. I want to go back to being what God made me, a man. I want to get a wife and I want to have children. We only got one problem, don't we? Your reproductive is gone. We got another problem. Your testosteronic levels are gone. Your ability to produce healthy seed is gone. There is no going back. We are not looking at this LGBTQ thing the way we should be looking at it. It is birth control and racial extermination. Why you think Kamala Harris is traveling throughout Africa, trying to convince African countries to legalize gay marriage? Why does America care how Africa chooses to run its society? What do you care about marriage in Africa? Because if we can invade African culture to the point where we can manipulate African children into same-sex relationships or outright transgenderism, which is the extermination of your bloodline, we can start predicting the reduction of the African population. They'll never be able to get rid of all African people, but they can damn sure make a dent in our numbers. But more than that, they can disrupt the natural, traditional, healthy, cultural way that we live our lives, build our families, and run our societies. LGBTQ is one of the greatest weapons of white supremacy against the survival of African people.
Listen, people, I reserve the right to disagree.
With what?
No, I was just trying to mock.
You just.
Yeah. To disagree with the, with the agenda that is being, pushed.
It's another tool of the enemy.
Yeah.
It's another tool. Sorry.
Go ahead. No. It's that is so powerful from what he's saying, and he's only speaking about African people because it is directed towards us and also promoted, and I truly do believe that it's another form of birth control. But I feel like once again people look at, okay, maybe black against white, who's actually behind this? Who's behind it is Satan, because things are not in its proper place, just like having sex outside of marriage and having a kid out of marriage, that's unnatural. So it's not directly trying to tell someone or like condemn a person where, hey, you are this, you are whatever. No, it's stating truth. It's really stating truth, because 2 men can't have a child, 2 women can't have a child. And so that also goes back to how, God intended. It was Adam and Eve, then they birthed a child, like Jesus came into the world. And so, yeah.
It's so crazy because, like you say, he is only focused on like African or black families units, but it's happening to everybody, because that's the whole point. And I think it happens just easier for black communities more so, just because of all the things in place to kind of shift towards that mindset. It makes it easier for us to go in that direction for a lot of reasons. And so It's so much. I don't even know, because at the end of the day, the Bible gives us a blueprint of what he describes as the stable family unit for nurturing kids. And when you disrupt these bonds, it can really hinder a child's emotional, physical, and spiritual security. And so, the enemy's strategy is always to steal, kill, and destroy, right? And so by fracturing families like this, he can really spread that confusion, hopelessness, and also the generational cycles of brokenness. And that's what we see nowadays, because you got people now who are saying, well, I just didn't want to be married. I wanted kids. And that's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. And we actually have to start being honest about that and saying this is the reason it's not okay. Not only spiritually, but how is this going to affect your child? Because when you look at statistics and you see all the rates of like single mother households, for example, right? You see that when they're raised with just one parent, they're more likely to be incarcerated, more likely to have trouble in school, more likely to live and stay in poverty for longer cycles, and also spreading that towards their family that they decide to create. And also, when you don't have those examples of stable families, you don't know what that looks like, and so you create your own broken family.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of what Miracle was saying, that there is increased rate in incarceration. It's just to give you all a little data, it's 85%. I think it's like 85% of the youth that come from single parent homes. They actually, that's kind of high. 85% that are
Extremely
incarcerated
high.
come from single parent homes, and then 63% of that they actually. Hold on, I think I forgot. Hold on, 63% of that they actually have suicides and stuff like that. And so let's not, as a community, as just people, let's not negate the fact on how important a true family structure is important when it comes to family. And I'm talking about a mom and a dad. I'm not talking about two dads. I'm not talking about two moms. And that's not negating that. That's not trying to negate that there isn't any positivity in that. But where we are headed as a society, people are too, I'm not gonna say soft, but they're too emotional from a standpoint that I can't tell you nothing. I remember talking to one of my little cousins or whatever, and I was trying to give him some advice. And I was probably once like this before too, but I was trying to give him some advice because I could see ahead, because I done already been there. But I also try to come and meet him at his level so I can reach him as well. But the thing is, I can't say that it's one specific person fault, but I can say that us as men, we're in responsibility for the family, the kid, the wife. We're in responsibility. When Adam and Eve was in the garden, God didn't come to Eve and say, "Why are you?" He was like, "Adam," because he set a precedent. He set his kingdom, and under a kingdom there is government. You don't even have to just even read the Bible to understand that there were things set in place in a certain way on how the social constructs of things went. Everything was, there's a king and a queen, and they ran their stuff at a certain way. That had to come from somewhere. But just on the topic that that Dr. Umar was talking about, I think that it's an epidemic. And the reason why I think that it's an epidemic is because it's not just the act of whether it's homosexuality or just the group, the LGBTQ group. It's what they are also standing for, and with that, there is so much things, like there's so much influence. Kids are influenced whether it's that or not. But the thing is, people want to feel involved. And so I personally know kids that I have mentored that was confused, and they end up feeling like they were something when they were not, because they just want to be a part of something, a cause that's bigger than them. It's like, hey, I support you. You are a group that is that's like needing of my support. So I am an ally of this, and not understanding the background of it. You know, it's kind of like what we kind of talked about earlier from the political side, from like the Daily Wire. It's this side versus this side. Now, I think that healing can come from this, but I think that truth has to trump over feelings at the end of the day. And I'm going to say this just like how Dr. Umar said it. Truth must trump your feelings.
He said that?
No, that's something that he would say, because he's going to repeat himself 2-3 times.
Oh,
Truth
okay.
must trump feelings. I'm going to say it again. This
15 lashes.
15 lashes. This is King Kong consciousness right here.
Oh my God.
But it's sometimes I wish that that people could really see the forest beyond the trees. Is because I want to say, I would reserve the right for anybody to do whatever you want to do, but don't distort what God has set forth.
Yeah.
Because we know deep down inside that that's unnatural. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'm kind of speechless on even what I want to say and how I want to say it. Is
take your time.
Yeah. It's because it was so much loaded ammo in what he's saying as far as the birth control. I can say honestly, I've asked a few of my gay friends, like, hey, why are you gay? Or, you know, like, how did it happen, or whatever. Why are you gay?
That's what. I'm sorry.
You asked somebody that?
Yeah. I mean, because we end up having conversations.
So why, you asked them why did it happen?
Yeah. So basically, how did they come to that? Yeah.
It is interesting.
Because like we were like driving in the car, and you know, he was like, hey man, I was molested, you know, when I was younger, and that happens. And it's a perpetual thing that people don't talk about, especially even in the black community. Like, hey, this man had an older male cousin to basically abuse him, rape him, and confuse his mind to where, like, he told me that, he was like, man, if I had a choice, I mean, of course we all got choices, but that feeling was so strong for him. It's like, man, he said, man, I wish I wasn't.
Yeah.
And this is just a personal, you know, story. You know, it broke my heart, is because he struggling internally, and I would never know how that feels for someone to abuse me. I mean, and just even from the female side, that happens a little bit more than it should. So we are sick in a way, because I mean, that leadership, that masculine leadership is missing, and we got to get back to the basics when it, you know, comes to that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Because it all leads into the bigger picture, because when you have those broken homes where it's just one parent, for the most part, no father, now you have people that lack a sense of purpose. Now you have people that are looking for something bigger than themselves to tell them who they are. And now you have these big political groups like the LGBTQ and just maybe other political groups that are similar,
and
that are telling you,
whatever.
that are telling you that, hey, if you come over here, if you support us, or if you are us, we'll love you and we'll accept you and we'll do whatever for you. And so you're like, oh man, maybe I am gay. Maybe I can experiment, or maybe I can do this, or maybe because I feel all tomboyish, I'm actually a boy. And now you got people that are validating it, especially adults, because you see that a lot in the school system now where adults are validating this. There's even laws being passed about it in California, which is crazy. But you see this now where it's being pushed so much on the youth, and you got to ask yourself why. Like, why are we trying to attack the youth so much? And it's because, for one reason, because at the end of the day, 2 women and 2 men cannot produce a baby. And so therefore they have to have an influence. And I'm talking about the spiritual side. The enemy has to have an influence on the remaining children that are still there. And so that's the way that he does it, because we've been commanded to be fruitful and multiply. So if he can nip that in the bud from the very beginning by convincing your daughter or your son that they're actually a boy or they're actually a girl, or that they're gay, or that they should experiment and not do this in the natural way, well, then he's going to set these things in place so that can't happen. And so now you got this group of people, these young people that are looking for something that's bigger than themselves. And now they're seeking that out because they don't have that direction or that discipline to realize, like, I'm grounded in Christ. Like, this is who I am. Like, I don't need the world to tell me what I need to support or who I am or what direction I need to go in, because I already knew from the very beginning at home, so they don't have that. And it's sad. So it's like, you see this all the time now. And so I really think it starts with recognizing it and reaching out to the families that you see that have this issue and being a support there, like especially in local churches and stuff like that, having more of an investment into the youth programs and youth events and the youth ministry, and making sure that you reach out to the youth and making sure that they understand who they am, because identity is so big now.
Yeah.
And a lot of them do things that are not within the character that you thought you were raising them to be. And so you really got to continuously remind the youth who they are. Because I remember growing up and the things that I witnessed and the things that I saw, and they're seeing so much more now. And I never could even imagine that. Like, seriously, especially because, I grew up seeing a lot. I'm sure you did too. And so the things that they're exposed to now, it's insane. It's literally on mainstream TV. Like, you couldn't, for example, see a bunch of cursing or naked people on like a regular TV show. You see that all the time now. And it's easily accessible. Whereas with me, I have parental locks. I could get past them. Yeah. But I had parental locks. I had all these I had all these guardrails. And it's harder to have these guardrails now, because if you don't give your child a phone, their friend at school can give them a phone that they're probably not using.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's like, you really got to be focused, especially as a single parent, on what your kids are up to and what they're doing. And if you are struggling with that, find that support system, please, because these kids are in trouble. They are being attacked by the enemy on every which way, and it's so sad.
Yeah, you said so many like gems and noteworthy things, and especially when you spoke about identity. And so, to me, anything that is not of Christ, as far as identity, is anti-Christ. And so, and we have to take it a little bit more serious. And I think just because the fathers aren't in the house, they haven't equipped themselves with the word enough to be able to lead the family, because maybe they're working so much or whatever it may be. Everybody got their own little vices and stuff like that. But understanding that the words are definitely powerful. If we could rewind from 40 years in the past, you don't have someone calling themselves them, they, and all this stuff. So, like, what is that? Where did that come from? Where did it originate from? Because something has to have...
His name was John something.
Really?
Yeah. That's how he kind of coined the transgenderism thing. That's a whole different topic. We should talk about it. It's an interesting.
Yeah, because I just randomly thought about who?
John Money. That's
John Money.
John Money.
Huh? And he came up with it.
We'll talk about it. Cause I forgot some details, but he came up with the idea of like gender. He came up with the idea of gender, and he basically thought that you could raise a boy to be a girl and he'll be okay. So they tested it on some twins. It's a whole thing. I'm not gonna get into it.
Wow. Yeah. Do y'all see that? So
both twins ended up killing themselves too, because of the things.
Do y'all see that?
So yeah, it's a whole thing, and people don't. And it's so crazy because we still use his studies as a success story, and it's not. It never was, but we use that to to perpetrate these agendas on these kids.
Yeah.
So.
And I guess just to go a little bit further from what Dr. Umar, the Prince of Kingdom Conscious, Pan-Africanism.
Remember, we got other topics too.
Yeah, I know,
so.
I know. But anyway, my beautiful Nubian sister, let me tell you. So I just want to kind of segue with this. What God wants from us, if I had to sum it up, as far as kingdom living, is provision, is purpose, it's a protection. So protection, provision, and purpose, and that's what He wants to give us. And once you figure out those, those three things, I feel like you will have a little bit more clarity in who you are, because there are a lot of people struggling. You got people who 50 years old that don't know that, like, hey, you can be healed from certain things just from the words that you say to yourself. But we are about to get into the next thing.
Yeah, the scripture. Can you read it? Because my screen died again.
Oh, it died again. Okay. All right. The Holy Scripture. A father to the fatherless, a defender of widows, is God in His holy dwelling. God sets the lonely in families. He leads out the prisoners with signing, but the rebellious live in a sun-scorched land.
The rebellious.
And that's Psalm 68, 5-6.
That's so crazy because, like, I love how it says that He's the father of the fatherless, right? It's interesting how He mentions, like, the rebelliousness and the consequence of being rebellious, right? Because you see that's everyone's being rebellious.
Yeah.
Everyone. I mean, you see it in different ways because, I mean, people just want to be different, and they think the way to be different is to rebel against whatever system is in place. And sometimes that system is the family system.
That's true.
Yeah, because you see it all the time now where people are like, well, he don't need his daddy or she don't need his mom. Like, and now you're like, they're okay. They're okay with that. And it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, and that's what Umar was really saying. He was like, look, this is affecting us whether you all, know it or not. Like, hey, do your thing, but just understand that you are being influenced, but you say that you aren't, or like, hey, it's just me. This is how I always been. No, something had to happen, or you watch something that influenced you, whether you know it is subconsciously or not. Like, we can walk down the street and somebody can pass by with a song, and then you're not thinking about it, and then you singing that song like, where did that song come from?
Yeah.
Because you're being communicated to regardless on where you're at. So
that's why I have to be careful what I watch, listen to, absorb, all of that. Yeah, that's interesting. But I want to get to the next topic where we talk about how the enemy is really strategizing to end the godly family structure. And we can talk about that after this.
All my life I was looking for a sign. Wasn't sure where to find a peace of mind. Sometimes you can see things when it ain't time. Well, for you I'll be putting it all aside.
With further ado, okay. All right, will you be my wife?
Of course I will.
Yeah, of course. You kiss.
When I look at you, it seems so damn easy to love. Was alone, now I'm feeling so alive. Don't need to control a thing since you came into my life.
here, guys.
That's what I was.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is what you do with on the Conscious Outlet. Welcome back to the Conscious Outlet.
Are you serious?
The producer's not even on screen, but I'm introing the segment. Make sure you like for the algorithm. You can only get this at quality. Alan bailed on us.
Miracle being extra.
I needed a charger.
But if he already said he had a charger.
I didn't. What do you mean? I thought he had the laptop, right?
Yeah,
no,
the laptop.
Yeah, the laptop.
But he said he had the charger.
You have a charger too?
Yeah, like for the iPhone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one somewhere.
Well, we are on live, so Miracle.
What's up? I don't need it. I'll need it for the next topic. Okay, guys, we're back.
Christ.
I'm Miracle Monique.
I'm Alan J.
Welcome to the Conscious Outlet.
Look at Owens.
Cause y'all know I don't hide how I feel.
What?
Come on.
Oh my God.
The show must go on.
He's mad at me.
I'm going back.
This is how the enemy undermines families, by causing division like this over a charger.
Yeah. Had me to get up out of my zone.
I didn't know he had a charger. See what happens? This is how the enemy strategizes to undermine godly families. This is what happens right here. And why does he target families? Because stable, faithful households raise confident children who know their identity in Christ. And fractured families often lead to insecurity, a struggle with authority, and questions about love and commitment, which is ground for more confusion. Right?
Right.
I want to look at that first video that you sent in from Twitter when we get that up.
Hey man, today we're talking about Satan's strategy.
Sorry, wrong video.
It's okay.
I don't know what to look for. Here you go.
I'm only 3.5 years old.
All right. I hopefully, some of my 90s babies and my 80s babies, that they remember that cartoon. I remember it like it was, yesterday, having some Cinnamon Toast Crunch with some ice cold milk and, watching that. That made me feel empowered as a young, I think I was maybe 8, 10, 12, or however I was a teenager. But stuff like that really affects a kid in my opinion, in a positive manner, because it made me feel invincible. And how this kind of relates to what we're talking about as far as baby mama and baby daddy culture is being proud to be a man, operating also in your masculine energy, because that's what you saw. You saw no matter what was thrown, at that, Indian guy, he always had a counter punch ready, And so that is important for that male figure, because a child, especially a young male, his first person that he looks up to is his father. And that's what God is to us. Our first figure that we should look up to is our Father. And just in that, context, that was something that it was just so profound in that time. But I will say this, like, there can be a level that can be toxic. It's like, okay, I go around and hitting on my chest, I'm the man, and, you know, hurt people's feelings and, you know, and stuff like that. So it's not just the father being in the house. It's also, you need that concept of a nurturer and a mother. And so that baby daddy, that baby mama culture, you're missing a, you know, element that could help with this chain of reaction when it comes to developing a kid. It's just like a car. You can have a brand new car, but if that battery isn't in there, that car won't move. And the whole purpose of a car is to move, to get you from point A to point B. And so when something is out of alignment, it would not work how it was intended to do. It's people really may not understand on how Christ, or, you know, on how God actually made us and the precepts of how things are supposed to go. But of course we got free will, and, you know, of course, God set things up to where, hey, we got choice. But that right there will show you where your heart is. Where your energy and your time is at, that's where your heart is. That's where your treasures are. And so if it's always around lustful activities, sexual desire, and you just going rampant, and it's always chaos. I mean, we all see it online. It's people who it may be a couple online that they're not married, but they got a beautiful kid. And, you know, they're basically doing a vlog on their life. And then what happens after a year or two? They break up because there's no foundation. There's no foundation in Christ. There's no foundation in the love and the understanding of our roles as people, as, you know, humans, and, you know, things of that nature. Yes. So what you think, Miracle?
No, I completely agree. I mean, it makes me think about our Conscious Way quote. Do you want to read it?
Yep.
Okay.
A two-parent home committed to each other and to God provides a spiritual covering. The enemy knows that if he weakens this covering, it becomes harder for the future generations to see a clear path to faith, purpose, and unity.
Yeah. So again, it's everything that you were saying, from having that balance of a two-parent household, because I personally don't believe that masculinity or femininity in and of itself could ever be toxic. I don't believe that. I believe that the person coming into it, from what they think that those concepts mean, but don't have a clear understanding of, can make it toxic. But that in and of itself isn't. But there can be like the imbalance that you were talking about, where there's too much of one thing.
Yep.
Because like you said, the father brings like discipline and order and the confidence to take on different risks, whereas the mother brings on the nurture and the love and the kindness and the confidence to let you know that you can keep going after you fall, you know. And so when you have one over the other, you can really miss important elements from that one parent that needs to be there to teach you those things, because it's very hard for, like, for example, for a single mom to raise a son because she's not a man. Yeah. So at the end of the day, she can love her son and do everything she possibly can, but she's going to have to find some type of male influence that she trusts for that son, so he can have something like that in the future and be able to grow with different men that value those same concepts, hopefully rooted in Christ, because that's the whole point, you know? And so, yeah.
I will say this, Miracle. I really do like how you complimented everything that I said. So I definitely gotta give you your flowers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
He was mad at me earlier, so, you know.
No, that was like fake mad, so.
Okay.
You see, I'm not mad now, so it's fake.
But we can look at the second video though. I want your opinions on it, because he kind of goes into like what the enemy's strategy is for destroying the family unit.
sever a husband's relationship from his wife. Guys, the most important relationship in your home, the most important thing for your kids is your relationship with your wife. I remember when Tracy and I first got married, I said, hey, we're going to really be great parents to our kids, and my wife taught me a really valuable lesson. She said, Brian, we are going to have a relationship first and foremost. We're not just going to have a relationship for the sake of our kids. We're not just going to have a relationship for our kids. We are going to have a godly relationship, husband and wife. We're going to nurture and work on a relationship. We're not just going to focus on the kids. Now, I don't know if that's something that you struggle with in your relationship, men, if you're like me, where you tend to just be a little bit more sort of action-oriented. It's really easy to look past your wife and look at your job and look at even your kids and look at your family. Guys, don't forget your relationship with your wife is the most important relationship for your family. In Ephesians, Paul says, husbands, love your wives just like Christ loved the church. If you think about that, Christ loved the church in such a way that he sacrificed for the church, he gave up his life for the church. So in the Bible, the church is the bride of Christ, and in your home, you are the one who's supposed to be like Christ, and so you should love your wife and do everything you can to make your wife better and to nurture your relationship with her. Here's the second strategy of the enemy. It's to.
So what do you think about that? Because he's really speaking to men on this channel, but women can learn from it too.
Yeah. Well, he actually said a lot. That's what the enemy want to do. Is to sever the husbands from the wife, because there is strength, there is unity, there is abundance, there is correction, there is a reproof, but overall there is Christ in the middle, and so and God in the middle of that, and so we know that that 3-strand cord isn't easily broken, because that's the original intent. So if I take away the male or I sever the male from the wife, he's going to go out in the world searching for something that is carnal instead of eternal, because marriage is a covenant between that person who's getting married and God, and so that shows dedication, that shows communication, that shows I'm coming under subjection to your provision, your purpose and your vision for me, God. I'm coming under like I said, your protection. Once again, I think it's good to kind of reiterate those things, is because we tend to glance at things, and I want to say I got to give a shout out to Pastor Mike Darnell at an Excel Church. He, taught me and of course the church to instead of looking at something, but to gaze at it. To gaze at something means that you are putting in the time, you put in the effort, you're exhausting your energy to replicate what is needed from God when it comes to what he wants us to do. So that thing that he said, this guy is saying about what Satan wants to do, as bad as it may sound, I feel like he has done it. I feel like he has severed the father, even, I'm not gonna say even at birth, because a lot of men don't grow up wanting to be a husband, but a lot of women grow up wanting to be a wife, because a lot of times
that's changing too.
Yes, a lot of men don't know what it means to be a husband. It's actually a beautiful thing, but it's also a thing that is dynamic in its own way.
Yeah.
Being a husband should be something that all of us should aspire, because you're a mentor to the kids who don't have a father. Us as men, it make us feel good that we can give this wisdom and these keys that, God has, given us, and this knowledge and wisdom and stuff to someone who is lacking, because it was given to us. Like, he will bring into remembrance of the things that we need as long as that we ask for it. And so that in itself is power. And I know that we have to have some type of strategy as us as men to come together, have some type of coalition, some type of rite of passage that will help fuel real followers of Christ and understand that, like, hey, our Heavenly Father already gave us our marching orders. We just got to go do it. We have to be a support system, and that's something that I'm doing now, and I'm around great people who have poured into me, and I'm pouring into them, and yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I want to look at the second strategy too that he mentions in the video.
Effectively sever a father's relationship with his kids. In our culture, men are conspicuously absent from the home, and that really is destructive to our kids. Guys, it doesn't mean you have to spend quit your job and spend every minute with your kids, but the time that you have with your kids, you've got to be intentional. One of the things that we encourage men to do is to mentor their kids. Parents, you are supposed to be the mentors at home. Fathers, you have to lead in this. So that's why we've got that whole resource library at pursuegod.org. Literally what I do with my son, I'll take a topic. We try to do this on the way to a ball game, on the way to practice, whatever. I try to spend intentional time transferring values intentionally to my son. Dads, if you don't do that, here's what's going to happen. Your sons, your daughters are going to get values transferred to them from school, from teachers, from movie stars, from music, from athletes, from their friends, who knows what, right? Dads, if you don't lead in the home, there will not be spiritual leadership in the home. Don't leave it to your wife to be the spiritual leader. I know some of you guys out there are maybe a little bit more introverted. Maybe you say it's just not my personality, it's not my style. Guys, got to get over it. Use the resources below. That's why these tools are so helpful for you. Because if you can get in the habit of speaking truth and love to your kids, again, just one topic at a time. Just time after time, it's going to pay off in the long run. But I think Satan has a third strategy.
So I wanted to play that second strategy because you mentioned a lot of that just now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, he literally said basically the exact same thing. Whereas the mentoring, right? And what else did he say? Oh, God. Well, mainly the mentoring, right? Mm-hmm. There was something else he said that I forgot. I had
Well, he was talking about, spending time with your kids and teaching them.
Yeah, exactly. That's really important because at the end of the day, like he said, your kids are gonna get information, values, and just different pieces of their developing personality from their environment, from everywhere else, from school, their friends, teachers, things of that nature. And the enemy knows this, which is why he uses certain groups out there to push towards getting the kids influenced by certain things, because he knows that if he can attack the kids, if he can attack the family structure, then everything else can kind of disintegrate under itself, and he'll essentially believe that he's won.
You know what I got from this, if I had to sum everything up from that second strategy? Preparedness. Preparedness. You can't send your child out in a world that is full of whatever and you don't have them prepared.
Yep.
Like, that's what Jesus did throughout his ministry with his disciples. He didn't just say, go out there and, tell them about me. He spent time with them. He ate amongst them. He prepared them on things that you're going to see, things that you're going to experience. He let them learn on their own as well, because, they were casting out demons, and, I forgot who it was. It was like, hey, we tried to exorcise this demon out, and you know, how come it couldn't get exorcised out? It was like, hey, because you didn't pray and fast. These only come out from praying and fasting. And that's a spiritual, you know, thing or whatever. So there's power from it. And also, Josh, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I forgot which. I know it was in one of the Gospels, but I can't remember the scripture right now. But I know that is a scripture in there. So
what is it? What? Oh, what you just said.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, they was casting out demons. Like, hey, why? You know, it didn't work for us. It's like,
I think you're right.
Yeah, because they
But
said that demon was knocking them outside the head, beating them down, you know. But it's that preparedness. And I would say this. By me, even though I can't say that I didn't have a father in the house. I had a stepfather, which he was definitely flawed, but I fooled with him is because he taught me how to be a man. And I will say there were other elements of like my mom, she had me to go to church. And then later on I met my mentor, which I call him my pops, is because he led me into the best thing that he could actually give me was access to Christ. You know, I used to ride with him because we didn't have a car and all of that stuff. And so stuff like that was very vital into who I am right now and the man that I am and the loving person that I am, but also the person that's rough around the edges too. Like, yeah, like all of that is, you know, me. Everybody has their own story and background. Not everybody gonna be this tough, rough person, because I'm not even that. But if I need to, I flip a table over like, you know, Jesus did, or you know, cut a person ear off like Peter. Was it Peter?
Yes.
Wow, smack a person too. You know, in the name of Jesus. You know, I'm just playing.
You and Peter would get along just fine.
Yeah, but like, yeah, man, you know, they down there at the synagogue. We finna go cut something up. You know,
oh my
come
God.
on.
Peter was on go.
Let me sharpen up this wheel right quick. Let me sharpen.
If I had to pick a disciple for you, Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once again, just in summary, preparedness. You can't send your kids out into the world and for them not to have their, you know, armor on. It's because, I'm gonna say this, I had an armor that a lot of people was like, man, you know, I just want to see, you know, Alan be high one time. And, you know, I think Josh was saying the same thing. They was like, man, I just want to see, you know, Prophet get high one time. I never smoked weed before. Not saying that, hey, this is something that's good to, you know, be proud of, but it's not about me not doing it. It's actually the ground that I stood. Yeah. Because you gotta stand on your rock. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I didn't want to, you know, do. I'm 34 now, and you know I look good for the age, you know. But
I knew he was about to do that.
But I didn't have to, cause I didn't have to get drugged into that. And then after a while, they was like, yeah, man, don't even ask this man, because he is not finna get high. He's like, I don't care if it's two baddies in his face. And just tell him, he's like, he's not finna do it. You know, because that's something that I just did not, it was something that I chose.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think that was your influence growing up? Like, from the people that poured into you, like your mentor, for example?
Yeah. I saw how he was with his children. I saw how he was with his wife. But I also saw how he was at church. He had a dedication. Myron Evans, I got to shout you out, my guy. He had a dedication to his family, to his wife, and also to the church. And I'm just like, man, you know, you spending a lot of time, whether dropping us off, picking us up, didn't ask our parents for no gas money or nothing like that. We don't know what he was going through financially, or even if he was. The thing is, he had a heart that was seeking after God and was like, hey, I'm going to run this race full throttle. And he has been blessed immensely from that, not just from the financial standpoint, but just his kids and how they are. They know who they are in this world. And because they seen their father, which is the example. Their father and also the mother, Miss Liz, she conducted herself in a way that you would want your wife to be like. She was soft, but at the same time, she had that motherly love to help you see a different way that a man couldn't. And that is why it is important to have both a godly woman and also a godly, male, husband and wife together going through a journey. And so,
Yeah, striving towards Christ together for sure.
Regardless.
Yeah, exactly. I want to look at the scripture too. It kind of reminds us that, what the enemy is here to do.
Okay. Would you like to read that, Mary?
I can now. Yes. It is John chapter 10, verse 10. The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. It's just a reminder of what the enemy is here to do, and a reminder that everything that is opposite of what the word promotes, it is an agenda of the enemy.
Mm-hmm. And just to even go just a little bit deeper on this scripture, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. So there's 3 elements. In order to steal something, something has to belong to you. In order to kill something, that is the thing that he knows that there's importance to it. And to destroy, that means to never live. And so that's your provision, that's your soul. Because like, hey, if I can destroy this, I can, get this. And so that in itself is really, really deep, especially that part of steal. Because a lot of people only just see that, oh yeah, it comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Well, if you got to steal something, that means something belongs to you. Everything, God gave us everything, and it's already in us. And when we go out and try to seek the world for something that's already in us, he's like, you forgot that I gave you the keys.
Wow.
If you read my word, that's the first thing that he gave us. And that's in like, I want to say this, Genesis chapter 1. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, there was the word. Mm-hmm. Just like that, guy on that meme, he was like, they ain't mad to say nothing.
I think that was John chapter 1, verse 1.
What?
Or 1 John. Is it 1 John or John? I always get them mixed up.
John.
John. It's John for
What?
chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word.
Yeah.
And the Word was with God. The Word was God.
Yeah.
Then the Word became flesh.
Come on with it. Preach. Come on, sister.
I love that scripture. I'll explain why in another episode.
Okay.
But yes, no, seriously. I think what it comes down to is understanding the purpose of the enemy and what Christ is here to do to redeem us from his agenda. And by putting it all in his hands like that, we can avoid a lot of the turmoil we could put ourselves through by following the enemy's agenda. And so on the next topic, I want to talk about the role of music and entertainment, because that is a huge influence, especially for the Black community, but everybody, honestly. And it's something that continues to grow, and it's becoming so normalized. And I'm talking about baby mama culture. It's becoming so normalized to the point where we're not even questioning when it happens anymore. And so I want to get into that topic too.
Okay.
After this.
After this, like, comment, and subscribe.
What will they remember you for?
Are you ready?
What will they remember you for?
Are you ready? Let it bounce.
Push your limits. Set the standard.
I'm enjoying the process and the journey.
Fast at 50. Coming soon.
Apologies.
I wonder if it hurt me. Hey y'all, we're back. Welcome to the Conscious Outlook Podcast.
We back like we never left.
Because we didn't. I'm Miracle Monique.
And I'm Alan J. In the flesh.
Yes. And we are discussing baby mama, baby daddy culture. Okay?
Yes.
We continue to approach this topic with love and grace because we understand a lot of things are the work of the spiritual first, and people just don't seem to understand that. And so we got to give people a lot of grace when it comes to what they believe about things like that, right? So, yeah, we're going to get right into it, okay? Because I want to talk about the role of entertainment and music and how it impacts the culture, and mainly the Black community, but honestly, everybody, because when you think about, like, the impact of music and entertainment, it is mainly centered around the Black community, which is now influencing the rest of the country, and even globally. And so, yeah, I want to get into that. Starting with this TikTok that I found that's pretty funny. She kind of just puts together a compilation of a bunch of famous baby mamas that majority of them are Black. Maybe one of them isn't. And so I kind of
I guess I didn't see this video.
Yeah, I kind of want to. I don't think you did.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't watch it. Okay. So we're gonna get into that video.
Flo Milli is pregnant by this man who is hiding behind her. She's 5'4". So that's cool. That's great. Now he could be more successful than DDG. We don't know because she chose to make him wear this hoodie to remain anonymous. And the comments are like, "Girl, you already pregnant. Let's let her lie." And that's a question. And I don't think it's rhetorical. Now that I'm thinking about it. Exhibit B, Sky Jackson, first of two Disney people we're gonna talk about today who fell to the demise of whatever baby daddy this is. I know this man has other kids. I saw a TikTok about it today. He's posted on Father's Day several times for several different children. None of them were hers yet. So and he looks young. They both look very young. They look 14. Okay. So it's like I don't know. Let my people go. Sky Jackson is 22, by the way. Halle Bailey and Flo Milli are both 24. People have been talking about how these babies are ruining these women's careers. I think it's more true for Halle, unfortunately, than the other two. Because Flo Milli, like, Cardi B has kids. You know what I mean? She can still rap. I think lots of rappers have kids. I don't think it's the same as a Disney princess. It simply is not. Also, Sky Jackson was Disney, so I think it's the same lane. But Halle Bailey was like Beyonce level success. Okay, let me not say Beyonce level success. Beyonce school of thought and etiquette paired with her high success of a Disney princess. But I don't think she kept the Beyonce code of. I think Beyonce was like, I always said I was gonna have a kid at 30. She is 44, so it's not that young for a rich person. And I am thinking actually now about Kylie Jenner. Now I wouldn't say that Halle Bailey has Kylie Jenner wealth, but Kylie Jenner is like one of the only white women I can think of right now who had a kid out of wedlock without too many consequences. Okay. If there's more, let me know. But obviously, race is part of like how I guess Hollywood and Disney like use these things. Not that Kylie Jenner is a Disney star. So again, she's a billionaire. So maybe this isn't relevant. But I also feel like she doesn't get that same amount of judgment. And I do think that's relevant to say. Again, she's not in the industry. Like I think the most punitive for an out of wedlock single mother baby mama situation is literally the situation that Halle Bailey is in, not just because it is film and Disney, but princess children. It's like that she, in my opinion, is going to take the biggest hit. Unfortunately, in the way like I don't know Hollywood is like casting, and I don't know. That's where people are saying that in Hollywood it's like kind of a very well known thing for any woman that if you're having a kid and you're not married and you're young, that it's like okay, say goodbye to like major serious roles. I would love for that to not be the case though, and I think it's possible that it could not be the case. Like, you know, it's We're getting later in life. People have money. People have different ways of doing things. People have different kinds of relationships. We'll see if here's the thing. Again, though, I think it's the Disney part of it. I think it's the princess again. Princess. Not that I don't think she deserves. Like, I don't give a fuck. I want to make that clear. I don't give a fuck. Okay. I don't give a fuck. These women can do whatever they want with their family planning. I don't give a shit.
This chick needs to land the dang plane, bro.
Land
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Land.
My goodness.
Don't worry about
How
it.
are y'all still watching this?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Is it almost done?
No.
No.
It's
Hey,
not.
you know what?
This is a 5-minute video.
No, we finna land it right now. What much more do we need to talk to listen, Miracle?
That's
Dang,
wild.
okay, we don't have to.
She got to the point and it just kept going.
Yeah. Is it something else?
No.
What is it? What you about to say?
Nothing.
Go ahead, say it.
Nothing. I was gonna say Kiki Palmer too.
Oof.
That's it.
Okay, well, why did we need to watch the rest of the movie?
I was saying skip through it. It's okay. We don't have to.
Well, you mean pause, because skipping, you mean go to the next.
I know. I was saying skip.
Okay.
Skip through it to get to that part.
Anywho, just like how Michael Kyle would say on.
That's not what he
Love.
said. It's what Franklin said. But anyway, yeah, you need to watch that show some more. But now, I wanted to look at that video specifically because she talks about a lot of the black females in Hollywood that have basically become baby mamas. And the thing is, in Hollywood, being a baby mama was mainly always associated with lower tier people. And so now it's coming to the point where even people like Halle Bailey or Keke Palmer that grew up suburban and 2-parent households are becoming baby mamas on their own free will. And you kind of have to wonder where that influence comes from, because if that's not what you see in your life, what made you want to go this route? Because it was like, as soon as Halle Bailey's movie, The Little Mermaid, came out, she had a baby. And no one, first of all, I didn't even,
I will tell you, people, she's a huge fan of, Halle Bailey, just let you know, so.
No, I'm not.
She's a fan.
Where'd you get that from?
Because she was like, she loves she is a fan of The Little Mermaid.
Thank you.
So
that's the I'm not a fan of Halle Bailey in. What are you doing? I'm not a fan of Halle Bailey in that way. She has a beautiful voice though. I'm not really a fan of her music like that though. Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's cool. Like I hope all the success for her, but I'm not like a fan of it. Okay. The Little Mermaid, that's my movie though. Okay. Not the live action, the original, right? Okay.
The original.
So I was very excited, but I was also disappointed because of my fandom and loyalty towards the Little Mermaid. I was disappointed when she got pregnant because I was like, as a Disney princess, you have to uphold certain standards and decorum while in public. And you didn't do that, and now it's coming to the point where now you're arguing with your baby daddy on Twitter and live stream. Well, not arguing, but she basically put out some kind of tweet that was like, "Hey, I don't approve of my baby being on this live stream with Caius." And
this is what you chose, chica.
Yeah, and so
I want to hear that bull.
Yeah, and so with things like that, it's like. You had the influence and the mentorship of Beyonce, really the queen of moving in silence. Honestly, nobody really knows about.
Oh yeah, she's definitely the queen of moving in silence. I mean,
yeah.
That ain't saying much of her being your mentor, but okay.
No. She's literally her mentor. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're signed to Beyonce's label.
Gotcha.
And in the beginning, before they were signed, like she was mentoring her and Chloe.
Okay.
Both of the sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said that. So given that, it's kind of like. You didn't learn, like even Beyonce did it in the way of order, right? So it's like, what made you think you were the exception? Where if you did it how you wanted to do it, that things would turn out the way you did? Because now they broke up and got back together and broke up again, stuff like that. It's kind of like you can't even keep up because there's too much surrounding the drama and chaos of it all, rather than your career. now no one's looking at your career. We're looking at your baby daddy and your baby mama drama. It's like, is that what you wanted? Because you went from the Little Mermaid to baby mama, and now DDG is your baby daddy. Like, that's like the narrative now, and that's what people put you in the box of. And so it's just disappointing to see, because at the end of the day, we can't really negate the influence that music and entertainment have on us, because it's so glamorized and normalized now in the culture. And so we see these things and we're like, okay, yeah, that's normal. Oh, she had a baby with somebody else, or he had a baby with somebody else, or he got 19 kids and she got 6 kids, and it's a lot. And it's now entertainment for us. Every time somebody else has another kid, it's like, oh man, we got to read about that, or we got to watch that, or like, what are the details? Like, who's the baby daddy? Who's the baby mama? And so even with Flo Milli, right? Like, she's pregnant, won't even show who got her pregnant. Why is that normal?
Yeah, I guess this is something that, I care about it from a standpoint of a biblical context. And I know that, this entertainment and stuff, this affects the young women, it affects the young men as well. Because it's like, all right, this is where life is. I don't have to get married to have a kid. Like, that's because there's no standard. And so, because there's no standard, you got everybody just being whatever. Like, it seems like some people can have the perfect looking couple, and like, how did this person end up cheating on each other or whatever? Is because there's no foundation. Not saying that doesn't happen in Christian relationships, because it does. And I'm one of those people who like to keep it real and keep it a buck with people. Just because that you follow Christ doesn't mean that, trials is not going to come. But the thing is, you have the equipment in order to actually deal with that. But I also want to give you all some data. And I want to call it, did you know? So did you know the University of Colorado in Boulder, they did a study on hip hop and the music. So it says that 73% of the Billboard in hip hop and R&B songs between 2015 and 2020 that reference relationships, over half of it portray dysfunctional or like dysfunction in relationships, meaning betrayal, infidelity, casual attitudes, and sexual promiscuity. And so let's think about that. You got 73% of the songs that reference the relationship, over half of that was relating to the dysfunction of that. So if you're pumping that in the airways, especially in the Black community that's already disenfranchised, that's already don't have a nuclear family, is that right, Miracle? That doesn't have that structure, and you are basically having a culture that is running rampant, and there's no standard. That's what we're seeing right now. And people can get in their feelings and say, oh, you all think that you all know everything or whatever. No, we're trying to get to a solution, because everybody else is just talking about problems. But the thing is, we can talk about it, but we can have a plan of action after that. And what we're telling you is the plan of action is that community in Christ, that community of a Bible packing church that will help you to become a better person for you, for Christ, and then everything else is gonna fall in line. It's not gonna fall in line perfectly, but it will. And so we will, as the Conscious Outlet team, we will have like some reading materials for you all coming soon. That will help you all on that journey, almost like a little daily calendar or something like that. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I especially like what you said about having the equipment to deal with it when you decide to follow the order, because a lot of people like to say, well, you know, you can get married, but that don't mean you won't get divorced, or that don't mean he won't cheat on you, or that don't mean that you still won't become a single mom. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. All those things definitely could still happen. But you don't get in the car and leave your door open while you drive, and not put on your seatbelt and say, well, I could probably get in a car accident anyway, so I'm not going to put my seatbelt on. I'm going to leave the door open. I'm going to do all that.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're still going to prepare for the best case scenario because you care about the outcome of that car ride, right?
Yeah.
You care about your life. So if you care about your future children, you care to provide them with the best family structure that you can possibly give them by giving them two parents that love and respect each other, and by giving them a relationship with Christ, and by giving them a home that they can love and grow in, and have a normal life out within that community, right? And so just because there's a small likelihood chance that something could go wrong does not mean you still don't prep for the best case scenario. That makes absolutely no sense. And so that has no basis. And I think people really get in their feelings about it. And then I hear people often say, you know, well, I wanted to have kids. I didn't want to get married. And that falls back in line with the how much do you care about your kids? Because your kids need certain things to thrive. And if you want to give them the best tools possible for them to thrive, and not just because you want to selfishly have kids, then you'll do these things. You'll find a partner. You won't go to a sperm bank and get things like that, right? Unless you just absolutely need to, still within the context of a 2-parent household. I remember this podcast I used to watch a long time ago. It still comes on. I forgot his name. He gave people advice that called in, and this one lady called in and she was like, I have a 5-year-old daughter who goes to school and comes back home, and she's starting to ask questions about her dad, but she, you know, I got her from the sperm bank. So like I had her by myself and all these other things, and I don't want her to think that she's missing anything. And the podcaster was immediately like, well, she is. She's missing a father. And because you decided to do this, you are now going to have to explain to her, as you know, in a way she'll understand why you made this choice and what she will be lacking because of this choice. And so she didn't see it that way before, because honestly this culture promotes so much degeneracy that she didn't realize that not having the father there would be such a big effect when your 5-year-old daughter is already asking about her father. Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, y'all, that's my baby right there. She giving it heat. That is your favorite auntie right there. Your favorite auntie dropping them gems, them nuggets, seasoning this world with that salt. I'm call her the original Salt Bae.
I appreciate the love. Thank you. We can also bring up the Conscious Way quote. I don't think we read it yet. You want to read it?
Why is this narrative push? Controversy and drama sell, portraying unstable relationships and glorifying. It went off, but yes.
There we go.
Glorifying single parenthood without context can keep us locked in a cycle that benefits entertainment platforms but leaves real people hurting. The enemy loves when brokenness is celebrated, not healed. Oh my, that right there is definitely deep. The enemy loves when brokenness is celebrated, because he knows that breaks, you know, God's heart, because God truly does love us. And I want to tell the people that's watching this to make it more real for you, because I know people hear that Jesus loves you, and you know, things of that nature. That love was shown in a way that we can't fathom, but the only way that you're gonna be able to understand it is by immersing yourself in the Bible and learning that it's bigger than just, oh, he loves you. No, he had to endure some things, and he was a real person. I mean, there are, you know, historical documents that actually said that. and also just understanding that if somebody would die for you, sacrifice, and you know, like a lot of moms would sacrifice their life for you, a lot of fathers would, and so just know that for someone to end a life for you, that's on a whole nother level, just so you can have life. That's just like if he was on life support and mama's like, hey, you know what? I've done enough. Take me instead. I want my daughter to be able to experience the love and the pleasures and the joy of life. Because there is a difference between happiness versus joy. Happiness versus joy. Happiness is circumstantial. Joy is eternal, because that's a state of being. Happiness is, hey, I'm happy right now. Something happened, I'm out of it. So
yeah. I ate some cookies, now I'm happy.
Yep.
That's that.
Yep. So yeah, I know that I bring you cookies a lot, and I got it mixed up. I thought that would bring her joy, but it brings a short happiness, and then I'm back in the doghouse. So
that's because happiness is external.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't depend on it.
Yep, you're right.
But I love what the Conscious Way quote says about glorifying single parenthood without context, because I think that's a big problem. Earlier, I don't know if it was this segment or a previous one, where you mentioned where you see vloggers like on YouTube and stuff, where it's like a nice couple, a beautiful young couple with a baby, and they're not married, and they living their lives, they're buying houses because YouTube paying the bills, and you know, they living a great life, and you're like, oh my gosh, so maybe I don't need to get married. Maybe this does happen for people. Wow.
Influence.
Yeah, and then like you said, like a year or two later, or really like 6 months, they break up, and now you see all this drama spill out in all the tabloids like Shade Room and stuff like that, where it was never what we thought it was. And so that without context is very important, because we're not getting the full story to understand everything that's going on behind the scenes. And that's what the word is trying to warn us about. Like, you don't actually understand what's going on with these people. So please do not glamorize it. The only thing you should be glamorizing is living for Christ.
Hey, man, give me some, sister. Oh, up high, down low.
Okay.
Too slow.
I got you anyway. Let's look at the scripture too. Do you want to read it?
The Holy Scripture, Ephesians, is that 5 and 11? Yes. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Key word, have nothing to do with fruitless deeds. That means that there has to be a root. Yeah. There has to be branches. So you got to know, are you either, just like how Cat Williams said, there's the good side and then there's the bad side. Which side are you on?
I don't remember him saying that.
Well, he kind of said something like that. What did he say?
He said, there's God's side and there's the other side.
Oh my God.
That's all he says.
And we got to keep the virgin booty hole.
I'm so tired. We gotta talk about Diddy one day.
That's wild.
We gotta talk about Diddy one day.
That was wild.
That was definitely wild.
Take that.
But yes, we have to recognize harmful narratives and then challenge them with the truth.
Yep.
We have to, because our people are in trouble.
Yeah. Challenge your person, and I challenge you personally, us from the Conscious Outlet, we challenge you to find a Bible packing church that will push you outside of your comfort zone to do something that's outside of like the norm, and you know, because sin is becoming the norm. Like, hey, you know, right. Having a little sex, having a baby, shooting and killing and robbing. A life isn't nothing, because if you actually knew that life is very a delicate thing, but if you see, like, a lot of this stuff is perpetuated, and Lord have mercy, like
cycling.
Just living here in Atlanta, these little YNs, they different.
YNs is such a funny term.
Yeah.
That I just recently learned about.
I don't have to say the N word, so just say YNs, you know, because they got their little Nike ski masks, and they, you know, a lot of this come from baby mama and baby daddy culture, because Ain't nobody there to teach them. They learn it from social media. They're being affected through their attitudes, people, even masculinity is actually misconstrued, because in my opinion, some of these cats who swear that they tough or, whatever, or, just want to shoot somebody and kill somebody just because they want to take their stuff, to me, that's like female attitude to me. Yeah. Or like, if I say something, you would shoot me because I hurt your feelings. That's girls. That's girl. Stop about to say a cuss word.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Yeah. There's a lot of lies in the culture, and we're going to talk about that in the next segment. And we talk about the lies versus God's truth.
What will they remember you for?
Are you ready? Let it bounce.
Push your limits. Set the standard.
I'm enjoying the process and the journey.
Fast at 50. Coming soon.
Hey guys, we're back.
Hello, my family.
Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share the video, check out our Substack, look at the merch, purchase the merch. We are here. We're gonna be more consistent making the videos. We got a lot to talk about today. We're still talking about it. I'm Miracle Monique.
I'm Alan J.
And again, welcome back to the Conscious Outlet Podcast.
Your favorite uncle and your favorite auntie. Get we? And the best producer in the land.
There we go.
And co-producer in Kenya.
There we go. There we go. Yes, so we're talking about baby mama, baby daddy culture today. And we're breaking it down. And we're trying to understand how it came to be, why it is what it is, how the enemy fits into it, and how we can combat it so we can create godly families, right? And so I want to go into our next topic. We're talking about cultural lies versus God's truth. Okay? And I want to talk about mainly marriage. So we're told that marriage is outdated. I've heard that so many times. It's just a piece of paper. It's this, it's that, it's whatever. And that kids don't need two stable parents. And that personal freedom trumps family commitment. And I want you guys to know that these are all cultural lies. All right? And while single parents can and do raise wonderful children, the struggle often comes from a world telling us to settle for less than God's best. And that's what I want to discuss today, the design for the family. So we can look at the Conscious Way quote really quick.
Miracle, would you like to read it?
I only can't read that last line.
Oh, yeah, because she can't see. Okay, let me help out this child. God's design for family is rooted in covenant. It's about unity, love, and spiritual legacy. When we embrace this design, we're pushing back against the lies that say chaos is normal. Woo! Chaos is normal in today. And also gossip is too. And there's a very thin line between talking about something and being informative and what's the word I just said?
Gossip?
Yeah, gossip. Yeah. So that difference is information is just being informative. Gossip actually tears down. And so that's what a lot of even other podcasts actually do. When you present someone with maybe some wrongdoing, it's like, hey, brother, hey, sister, I know you've been, doing this, but I want to help you. I want to provide a solution. When you talk about you're not gossiping, is because you are providing a solution in a positive manner. Here is just, or on social media is just a whole bunch of blah 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 this, or it's a whole bunch of mess and malarkey that just constantly perpetuates the same thing. It's mess. It's no one isn't getting true leadership from it. Nobody is it's just the same thing.
Yeah, it perpetrates the chaos that you're just talking about, for sure. And that's what can build and fuel all these cultural lies that we continue to hear, because it continues to cycle in and of itself. And so I want to look at this video really quick that kind of discusses marriage and how there's a question of it being outdated.
You need a fuck buddy, not a spouse.
You really just want the wedding, not the marriage.
You want the cute Christmas cards, but not the struggle of getting to know your spouse's family. You want the long vacations, but you don't want the long nights of grinding. You want the big happy family, but not the years of counseling so that you can heal your traumas so you don't pass them on to your kids. You want the cute date nights, but not the arguments where you're fighting to get on the same page. You want that mind-blowing in love sex, but not the patience that it takes to get to know your partner's body and to survive those dry seasons. Here's the big one. You want them to meet your needs, but you're not willing to sacrifice your immediate wants to meet theirs. You want somebody there for when you need them, but you don't really want the commitment. Marriage is great, but marriage is work. And if you don't want to put in the work, go ahead and start planning your divorce.
Yeah, I think people don't have an understanding of what marriage actually is and what it entails. And that's why people go into it and they're like, oh, this is not what I thought it would be. Especially if you don't have Christ at the center, you're really not going to know what it is, because you're probably in it for the right reasons. I'm not saying that, but at the end of the day, like, if you don't have that foundation of understanding why you need to stay and what it means to the both of you, then there's really no reason to continue, and you'll find that the grounds for divorce become like clearer. And you're like, oh yeah, I think that could be an option now because I don't have a reason to stay here. I'm not happy. I'm not in love. And so it makes it easier to leave that person.
Yeah, because like, hey, I can just go get another one of you, but no, not this one. This one is irreplaceable. To piggyback and put some emphasis on some things that it says. Hey, you want the cute date nights, but you don't want to, I forgot, what did she say? You want the cute date nights, but you don't want whatever.
I don't know.
Or you want the family, but you don't want all the things that actually comes with a family, like understanding the dynamics of when you come into something new and you grew up different. From like a prime example with me and you, her family does things a whole different way than I'm used to, but that took time for me to kind of adjust to that. Like me, I'm used to going wherever I want to go to, and I don't gotta tell nobody nothing because I'm a grown man. But I understand that she taught me that I have to have a certain type of decorum and let people know where I'm going. Not because they just want to tag where I'm at, but people care about me. They want to make sure, like, hey, this might be going on this side of town, but you don't even know. And so I had to learn that, and it was a challenge because I don't like nobody tapping where I'm at, where I'm going. I'm like, look, I'll be all right. I know how to handle my stuff. But she said a lot of good things, and even with this type of culture to where I want things to serve me, especially when it comes to a woman just wanting a kid, just to have a kid, and not understanding that kid needs a 2-parent household in order for things to be, straight. for things to be, how it's supposed to be. And so, one thing that she said that kind of stood out to me is people don't want to sacrifice their immediate wants so things can actually work. So you can sacrifice. The main thing is people don't want to sacrifice their
anything.
Yeah, their wants is because they're rooted in carnal things that, hey, I don't want to do anything that doesn't serve me. If I don't feel like doing this, I don't want to. That's just like if maybe your husband or your wife is, hungry and something's like, hey, babe, can you cook me something? And this might be 2:00 in the morning. But the thing is, if that doesn't hurt you that much, go ahead and make that man a sandwich and get up. I don't care that you're tired, because I'm quite sure that person has sacrificed some time, some effort, and a whole bunch of other things. Stuff like that matters. Like if you go out your way sometimes. I do that for Miracle all the time. She like Pretty Little Tacos in Atlanta. I go,
try it. It's delicious.
Yeah, I go and get her some tacos, and she like Insomnia cookies, and we will end up having a sponsorship from you all, because I spend about $40 a week on cookies. Just to let you know, for 6 cookies, $15.66.
It's worth it.
Yeah, with
you
taxes.
Gotta watch that diabetes.
It's worth it. It's
Yeah.
worth it. Don't eat it all the time though, but it's worth it.
I mean, I eat candy like crazy.
Yeah,
he does too.
He just, I kind of like my sweets. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of I guess an old school type of sweet head. I like
What do you mean?
I like oatmeal raisin.
Yeah.
Oatmeal raisin cookie
and my
fire
mom.
with some cinnamon vanilla ice cream
And some warm milk.
Yes, sir. And
Absolutely
chocolate
not.
milk.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
Oatmeal raisin. Oatmeal raisin sounds like a breakfast meal trying to be a dessert.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was almost,
But she don't
almost good, Miracle.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
Don't say almost.
It was like you had the line. You just didn't. The delivery was terrible.
Exactly.
The delivery was
It was
off.
perfect.
It was there. It was there. She don't even like oatmeal, but she needs some more iron. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
She need to lower her cholesterol.
No, I have too much iron. That's a whole different topic. I have too much iron. I took too much chlorophyll. Don't do that.
And also, she need to lower her cholesterol too.
Why are you discussing my health with these people?
I'm Chloe Bailey.
What? You just be saying stuff. What does that mean?
Banana cream pie. I'm just.
Yeah. You do just say stuff.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? See,
Sugar,
made me
honey,
forget.
iced tea, baby.
I'm
Sugar,
so sick of
honey,
y'all.
iced tea.
See. Let's look at the scripture.
Oh, you just gonna pass it to God? That's crazy.
That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
We got to give it all back to God.
Oh my God.
So let's look at the scripture. Yep.
Read it.
Okay.
One.
Genesis 2:24. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh. This kind of goes back to that question I asked you in the very beginning. I was like, what'd I say? Who goes first?
Yeah.
Or what is the ranking? Is it your mom, daughter, wife, or baby mama? And a lot of people, like I said in the comments, were not putting their spouse first.
They'll put the child first. I even had to correct my mama, and I love my mama, and I think the world of her. I said, Mama, so when you get married and stuff like that, so who actually come first? She was like, yeah, my kids. I was like, I said, your husband first, and then it kind of shocked her. It was like, for me to say that, and I'm her child, and I'm also the favorite too. Wow,
just
my brother
out
thinks
there.
the same thing.
Yeah. I mean,
I guess all firstborn sons think that, huh?
yeah. I mean, it's kind of evident.
You so funny.
The shade.
Anyway, it was. Anyway, I forgot what I was about to say to you. You made me forget.
Yeah, you
What were you
yourself
saying?
forget.
What were you saying just
About
now?
what?
Right before you said about the favorite and stuff.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Ask
Okay.
Josh. He's supposed to be the producer
Oh my
and remember
God.
everything.
This is terrible. Okay.
Do I need
So-
to add replay?
No, I know.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be a good feature.
Exactly. That will be
That'd
good.
be a good feature. So, I wanted to say, this scripture shows the original blueprint. A man and a woman united and building a life and a family together, right? And so back to that question that was asked earlier, and even you having to, correct somebody about it, a lot of people actually don't know that their spouse is supposed to come first. And I think I understand why. Like, your children come out of you, you raise your children, you pour into your children, and it's like, it's a different type of love than it is with your spouse or a friend or whatever. And so it feels like it should be put first. But when you look at it scripturally, you understand why they're not put first, And so you understand that at the end of the day, when you join to someone in marriage, you become one flesh. Your decisions now impact your spouse's decisions. And as you continuously reach towards the same vision, you have to make decisions that support that decision together. And so your kids grow up and leave the house and start their own lives. So when you put them first, what are you essentially left with if you don't have that relationship with your spouse? You just have an empty nest and an empty relationship.
Ooh, that's real, and I think a lot of families fall victim to that. Is they forget that, hey, I got somebody that I'm supposed to love and care for, and I gave a covenant to. What it is, in my opinion, is people lose that thrill. When the thrill is gone, as what old B.B. King would say, from old Memphis, when the thrill is gone away, ain't nothing that you can do about it. You can do something about it.
Yeah, I don't agree. You're supposed to do something about it. But I get it.
But a lot of people don't. It's because they're comfortable in their comfortability.
Yeah. I think people also don't know they can change it.
Yeah.
I think people forget that
they
are
lazy
able.
Too.
Yes. I also think people don't know that they can change that dynamic. Like, once you don't really like your spouse anymore, you're kind of like, man, there's nothing I can do about this. I gotta just leave you. But no, your job is to sit there in it and figure out a way to bring that spark back and continue to pour into each other.
Yeah, find a way to make that relationship back spicy. You know what I'm saying? Go and just
do something new together.
Yeah, just go and kiss your woman on the forehead and talk to him in a way that she would think is so sensual. Like, baby, you know what? You remind me of my Jeep.
Oh
I want to ride something like a... That's R. Kelly for y'all young folks.
How do y'all...
That was not R. Kelly.
How do you remind me of my Jeep?
Yes.
Oh. Yes.
The producer is talking.
Oh, excuse me.
How do y'all keep things spicy?
Well, we keep things spicy by prayer because we're not married yet, because the fire is definitely strong, but it's
we do different things together though.
Yeah,
that's kind of how we keep it new.
Well,
we have new experiences together.
Yeah. Okay. So give me some of the experience, because I'm always giving people some of the.
We try new restaurants or dessert places. We have picnics. We never done that. Or we just do different things. Like,
what are the different things? But
I just said it.
I would tell people what the different things is because she can't remember.
I just said some of them.
Okay.
I didn't name everything.
No, you named a picnic, but you said that we never did it before.
This is going well.
Go ahead, Alan.
So what we do to keep things spicy, and you should definitely try this too. One of the things that I found kind of exhilarating for me, because I never, really did this before, was we take turns reading to each other. I let her read one of those little books that she read. It's called The Fourth Wing.
I finished that like 4 months ago.
And
we've only done that like once or twice.
But it's still done. But we also read the word together too, and
yes.
families don't do that, but we do that often, very often.
Yes, we do.
So yeah, check yourself before I do it.
See.
But anyway,
he's giving y'all an audience.
Yeah. So anyway, we read together. We go to different restaurants. We are planning on going to some classical events to excite the mind and the brain and stimulate us in a more.
Now, how you gonna get mad at me because I mentioned something we haven't done yet?
Yeah,
but
no,
you
no,
just
no,
said something we
I-
haven't done yet.
Yeah, I listed more things than you or whatever.
We go to
actually-
concerts together. We
Yep.
traveled
We
together.
went to a Wale concert.
We went to other concerts too.
We went to an Aaron Ray concert.
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff.
We did wine tasting
I've done
together.
your hair.
Yep,
That
yeah,
was fun.
she done my hair and she gave me a facial.
Oh yeah, we
I
do
let-
spa days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I make her clip my toenails.
I've never done that.
Yep.
That's nasty.
I've
No,
never
it's
done
not.
that.
You
I-
make her
I've
clip your
never-
toenails.
I've
It's not
never
a
done
that.
that.
You my
See
woman.
that?
You get that.
See,
You love me.
Never
you
done
clip,
that.
You clip these toenails.
That should be a choice.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't think I'm
Yeah, that
submissive enough
sounds
for
like
that
it.
one.
That sounds like it should be a
She
choice.
lying.
I'm sorry.
She lying.
What if I told you to shave my armpit?
I'll shave it.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
I'm gonna let y'all know if he ever does that.
It don't make me no different. I was there when you.
I'm not clipping your toenails, babe. I'm sorry.
I could say something.
Now,
like that.
unless you just sick and you just desperately need it, I don't know what you're talking about. What?
Nothing.
I don't want you to say it because I'm scared of what you're about to say.
I'm
Anyway,
gonna let her make
that's how we do that, right?
Okay. That's how you keep things spicy is seeking after each other's approval. Not
Aw.
Instagram, not social media, not the world, because that's how you end up getting into some stuff that you don't need to. I mean, that's really
so
how
true.
it is.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes some people can get so consumed in social media that they will affect their relationship. Like, well, you didn't post me, or you didn't like my comment. Sounding like a Muppet.
What?
I wasn't talking about you. I was just saying, just in general.
I hope so, because I don't sound like that. Yeah. But let's get into some solutions, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be the next topic, but we're not going to go to commercial. So how do we combat this narrative, right? Like, where do we actually start? So I believe that with truth, love, and practical support, that's how we start, right?
Yes.
So it's important for us to be intentional about teaching God's design for family to everyone willing to listen to it. We need mentors, pastors, community leaders, and just other types of teachers who will truly speak about that hope and mobility and model stability for what the family structure is supposed to look like, right? We also have to hold the entertainment industry accountable. And we do that by supporting artists and creators who truly uplift positive images of family. That's why I'm truly careful about what I pour into myself and what I catch myself pouring into other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I especially nowadays, I try to be very careful with my words for what I want to communicate. And I'm also very careful with, again, what I put inside myself because, you know, your heart is a reflection of what you've been pouring into you. If you've been focused on the word, reading the word, praying, then you're going to essentially pour out that light onto everybody else. But if you haven't been, you might be depressed. You might be feeling some type of darkness within your spirit or emptiness. And that can also be projected onto other people as well. And they can see that too. And so it's really important for us to understand where we go from here and how we can just take it one step at a time to make sure that we're doing what we can to uphold the family structure. And did you do the, not did I do them? Okay, we have another conscious way like quote, but it's not really a quote. It's more like a 4 or 5 step process we could look at for how we can combat this narrative.
Okay.
So, want to look at that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look at that.
Let's look at that, people.
Yeah, I know it's hard to read.
Okay, I'm gonna come in close to
but
it.
you can look. You can look at it on your phone.
I'm finna get intimate.
You can look at it on your phone.
Ways to combat this is educate on God's plan. Teach biblical principles about family within the community.
We can stop there. We can like talk about each one if you want.
Okay.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So education on God's plan, right? Like you said, teaching the biblical principles about family within the community.
Yeah.
Why is that so important?
Teaching the
Yeah. Why is that important?
Because you setting the stage. You know,
There we go.
It's just like setting the table to eat. You gotta set things up so you can be able to eat properly. You don't eat with your hands, do you? Are you a savage?
I do sometimes eat with my hands.
Oh, so you eat fufu?
Like hot dogs and stuff.
Oh, the Glizzy 2000s. Okay. Anywho.
Wow.
So.
Want to look at the next one?
Yep. Mentorship and support offer marriage workshops, parenting classes, and financial literacy programs. Support young people who want to form stable families. I definitely want to follow up on this because this is going to be some of the information that we're going to provide to you all, so you all can, so to add some value and just to let you all know. Of course, it won't be free because we put time and effort.
Check out our Substack.
Yes, check out the Substack. It is very informative. We put countless of hours in, hundreds of hours into the data, to the knowledge that we are given. And one main thing that's going to come from this is financial literacy, and this is going to teach you a lot. I feel like when it comes to business, because what God gives us a lot of times, He gives us things to manage. And if you don't manage your finances, or really, if you can't manage your family, you ain't gonna be able to manage your finances.
Yeah.
And so you have to end up being that leader that you know that you can be, that God know that you can be, what you was created for. And so yeah, we're gonna have some people who are financial gurus who have their teeth in the game, investment properties, people who have their degree in finance, and also that's including insurance and all of that stuff. So we can go to number 3. You want to read number 3?
Sure. Consume wisely. Choose music, shows, and influencers who honor healthy relationships and support content that reflects family values.
Like us, the Conscious Outlet. Go and get some merch. We're going to bring some heat. And I think that we like having fun and communicating with you all. It's not just always just serious, oh, we gotta give you a book, chapter, and verse, and then that's it. No, we know that you're a human. We know that, we gotta talk to you like family. That's always been my vision for creating a Conscious Outlet. And what's crazy is the Conscious Outlet would not be what it is if God did not provide me with the people that's in our life now. I would have never met Josh and Kenya if I didn't meet Miracle. And, just that shows you on how everything is interconnected. And so that's how Christ wanted us to do. That's how he had the churches to go in Corinth and, a lot of other places and stuff like that.
Want to go to the next one?
Yep.
You want to read it?
Yeah. Show grace. If someone is already in a baby mama / baby daddy situation, love them, guide them, and help them break cycles. God can redeem any story.
Yes.
Okay, people. This is gonna take just a little time. So we throw this word around so much. We throw this word around grace like, it's just something that is just, oh, grace, mercy, and stuff like that. So grace, what do you think grace is, Miracle?
Offering people the opportunity to get things wrong and showing them love through it. I don't know the true definition.
No. That's good. That's good. That's good. But like, what I will say is, okay. I wonder why I only see you. Oh, okay.
Oh, your thing died.
Oh, it did.
Oh, did mine die? Or am I on my screen? Just my screen. Okay. It's just the screen.
Well, I guess that because when I say this, I want people to see my expression.
Okay.
And so, what do you think what mercy is?
That's a good question.
Take your time, sis.
I know what it is. You know how you know what a word is, but you can't define it yet? Maybe I don't know what it is then if I can't define it. But mercy.
If God's giving you mercy, what do
Yeah.
you think that means?
For something that I've already, it's similar to grace, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I've done wrong where he's offering me a chance at redemption, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Just to go a little bit further, and I'm gonna say it over just like how Dr.
You can
Umar
ask me
said.
something else if you want to wait until your screen is back up.
No, I'm
that way I can talk some more.
Okay.
And you can wait.
No, you fine. So what grace is God giving us what we do not deserve, and mercy is God withholding from us what we do deserve. So
that makes sense, yeah.
we deserve death
Mm-hmm.
through sin. I mean, well, we actually got that, because we're spirit, because we're separated from God.
Mm-hmm.
Grace, like I said, we're getting things. Grace is actually a byproduct or a pre-product of blessing. Like only reason why that we're blessed is because that we have grace.
Yeah.
Because we don't deserve it. But mercy is things that's being withheld because we do deserve it.
Yeah.
And so that all of that is it's just God. What mercy is God sparing us from judgment and punishment, and then grace is God. That includes salvation, blessing, just like what I just said. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how do we show that for people in that situation?
What?
How do we show grace for people in that situation?
Allowing people to make mistakes. That's how you show grace. Showing people that, hey, I'm willing to extend my olive branch to you and for us, because grace is also sacrifice too, because we all got the choice to just cut each other off and I don't have to deal with anything, because nobody has to do nothing. But that's what grace is giving you that olive branch. Like if you hurt me, you deserve, this, but I'm going to input something because I know that it's going to end up giving me that return on investment back. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like
people
that.
have that grace and mercy. Figure out what these terms and stuff mean. Go and research. Get you a strong concordance. Go and figure out stuff when it comes to certain contexts in the word, Greek, Aramaic, and all of that stuff. And so I'm telling you, I've been learning. I feel more comfortable in myself, in my way of how I deliver things. Yes, I don't say every word correctly, but that's just my my background, colloquialism, and how I just
Okay, I can't even say
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Colloquialism. Colloquial.
Yeah, but to me, Miracle is a better speaker than I am.
I had practice. I practiced on purpose.
Yeah, she used to work for ESPN, so
that doesn't mean anything. It was an internship.
Yeah,
that
I'm
means
proud
nothing.
of it. It's still ESPN,
It is. I got to do cool stuff, but that's besides the
So
point.
lastly, once again, just like Dr. Umar said, what is grace, people? What is grace? Grace is God giving us what we don't deserve, and mercy is God withholding from us what we do deserve.
I love that. Let's also look at the final scripture.
Okay.
You have to read it though. My screen is.
Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggles is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realm. And that's Ephesians 6:10 through 12. Go and read that scripture. Find you an accountability partner. If you don't have one, find some. I'm quite sure that you can find one, because I have my accountability partner right here. I got my family, I got my friends, and I am also my own accountability person as well. If you can't keep yourself accountable, nobody else can either.
Yeah.
And that's words from a wise man from Mississippi.
Nice. This is spiritual warfare, so we have to use God's truth as our armor, and that includes when we discuss baby mama, baby daddy culture. And that's pretty much it for this episode.
We like you all. We love you all. Come back. Come enjoy. Come have fellowship. Eat bread.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember to like, subscribe, share the videos, prepare for more content. Turn your notifications on too, okay? So make sure you do all those things. Check out our Substack for more insights on different topics that we get into. Make sure you check out Quality Entertainment for some new merch. That's fun. Stay tuned for more things that we're doing in the future.
One more thing, people.
Okay.
I have a gift for my dear friend and brother and producer. Josh, this is for you. I would like you to show the people what you got. Here's a Christmas gift for you. I don't care that you open it really, but I saw it when I was at I was in the line at Marshall's, and it just said Josh, and then I looked at it. I said, man, ain't this crazy? Because I was sitting there looking for something for him. I said, yep, this is perfect right here.
What is it, Josh?
The reveal.
Feels like a cup of some sort.
Yeah.
He likes it.
It's a good day.
And it's a mug, so
yeah.
And also my two favorite things.
Yeah.
Pickleball.
He is a pickleball head.
Yeah, I'm a pickle head for sure.
Yeah.
Pickle head.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Really appreciate the gift.
No problem.
I'm gonna have to clean it out and get Kenya to make some tea for me.
Yeah, exactly. Kenya, go make my boy some tea.
Kenya!
That's it today, guys. Thank you for tuning in to The Conscious Outlet, guys.
All right.
We in there.
We out.
I'll see y'all later.